Righty, well then, welcome back to episode 4, is it episode 6?
Episode 6.
Chapter 6?
Six.
Yeah, chapter 6, of In the Wake of the End Times. Yay!
Yay. Yay.
Righty-dighty then, so, do the usual, unless there's anything that anyone wants to bring up, we're just gonna get right into a recap. No?
Nope.
Lovely. So, last session, the group, had a meeting with the father, discussing of what's going to happen with the town with the recent ogre attack that you, after witnessing Alexis's trial, went to go and stop. It seems like some guards, during some patrols, had noticed some ogres in the woods. After a relatively quick combat with them, and reporting back to the father, you came into something that was like a miniature council meeting, where you discussed what was to happen. Upon discussing this, you elected to fortify the town as best as possible and wait for the coming attack to take the defensive position. During this, you met some interesting NPCs, notably 3 allies who were helping you in your combat. A brother Brutus, what seems to be a Goliath paladin of the Sunken King, Gav, who seems to be an officer in the local guard, and William, a guard veteran who has actually retired, but came out of retirement to give you guys. After this, you guys were particularly waiting for the incursion to happen, and the first signs of it was the forest burning, as it seems like the forces had set the forest alight to cover their approach. One rather large combat later, with your group quite effectively, with Lucky's meat grinder of a spell, killing all of the people that encountered you. However, near the end of this combat, some strange third party, a large tree man with a very large bow, came out to what seems to, at the very least, assist you in taking out some of the enemies. All of you are now standing in the midst of this fray, just as you and your group has dealt with at least the section of the army that you have fought. Party, as you stand in the flames, what would you like to do?
Is everybody up? Is anybody still unconscious?
No one is
unconscious except you.
Okay, I'm going to put a cure wounds on myself first thing. It's gonna be a 1d8 plus 4. Can I roll that?
Yes, you can roll that.
I like how I said can I roll that, but I rolled it anyway. That's
Yeah.
It's 9 points of healing to myself. It's good enough. I'll take it. What
is
Lucky?
the tree man doing?
Lucky.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
I don't, but it looks super cool.
Do you want to talk to it?
What is the tree man doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, before you begin to really notice the tree man, I'm going to tell you a couple of other things you notice first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, in this combat, the forests are still burning at a substantial rate, and now, as the kind of adrenaline rushes out of your body, as at least your encounter ends, you begin to take notice of the battle situation around you. The other groups of guards and what seem to be holy men and women fighting against these hordes, and it seems like they're not doing as well as your group fared. They're being pushed back to what seems to be the very borders of the town, to the very quickly dug trenches that you all helped to construct. It seems like this town, against a force of just pure unbridled barbarity, is not facing very well.
Okay, so right now where we are, you would you say it's about halfway between where the fire started and where the town is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll get you on the map, actually.
All right, that'll be great.
So the forest is on fire.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Oh, no.
are roughly about here, just between the section of the forest that you guys tried to counterburn with, and it seems like it's doing a decent enough job holding back the flames from reaching to the town, but, you know, the forest is essentially almost all engulfed.
All right. How
So,
far?
Here is the keep, right?
This is the key,
Does
yes.
it look like they're breaching this wall, or no?
It doesn't seem like they're breaching the wall. It seems like they're killing most of the orcs, seem to be killing and fighting their way across the bottom half of the keep, and some of them seem to be making their way into town itself.
So it looks like they're gonna try and breach it through here.
Yes.
Okay. So the southern end then.
Hmm.
Any breaches along the northern end that I can see? Any like wall breaks or anyone climbing over the wall?
It doesn't seem like anyone has met. It doesn't seem that they're actually making their way towards the keep walls. They seem to be making their way into the village itself.
All right. Can I make a? I'm going to call out to Alexis and who's our cleric again? It was L.
Oh,
Uh,
session 6,
Wow.
dude.
Wow.
I'm going to call to Alexis and L. Do you guys see any person that could be potentially a commander of sorts, a linchpin, a leading figure?
That, and she points to the tree man.
I mean, of the orc army.
Hmm.
I'm
Speaking of said tree man,
Mhm.
you, after you have this little powwow with your group, kind of
Mhm.
reforming again, the tree man seems to kind of walk up towards the group.
Mhm.
He kind of eyes all of you and notice that you're standing over the quite brutally beaten bodies of these orcs,
Mhm.
goblins, and every other race that you fought here. Gives you a kind of solemn nod, and then from his hip he pulls out what seems to be this very large horn. It seems to be humming this almost green energy.
Mhm.
He places it to his wooden lips and then lets out this ear-piercing screech.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like that horn, which is probably could fit in both of your hands, should make a noise that large. It crushes your eardrums, and for a moment after it's done, you're just kind of stand there, almost dizzy after this goes off. But then as your ears kind of readjust to the sounds of combat, you begin to hear stomping,
Mhm.
large footsteps making their way from the woods. And it seems like more of these individuals are now coming out of the woods. Kind of tree men and women with bows and what seems to be spears made of wood actually affixed to their bodies, rushing into the orc forces.
Huh.
So,
Um,
can
Lucky Flynn, you guys know what that is?
Do I? Do we?
you have absolutely no fucking idea what this is.
Does Flynn know since it... Wait, they
Flynn?
don't look like the tree men that he went with, do they?
No.
I'm going to poke Lucky and say that language you speak. See if perhaps you can understand it.
Okay. I'm gonna say in Druidic. Um. Thank you for helping us. You fought well. Who are you people?
This tree person looks down at you, kind of almost surprised that you speak this language. Kind of slightly lowers himself to look you in the eye, and with kind of a low voice, he says, "We were alerted to the suffering of the children. We will kill the defilers. You are not defilers." Then from that, he kind of raises himself up and pulls out what seem to be a couple of these arrows that kind of just form themselves from his hands and begins to kind of let out this barrage of arrows. But it seems like behind you, this almost small contingent of orcs seem to begin making their way. And with that, more of these tree individuals from the woods let out this volley of arrows onto these orc forces.
Right. I'm gonna turn to the group and say they came here to avenge the other tree people that were killed.
So they're killing the
Should we
orcs.
help?
That's good news. Yes,
Well,
we need to help the others.
we kind of already are helping, but more importantly, the
What?
forces of the
By
orcs.
standing here?
Well, no, by fighting. We have a moment to recuperate ourselves. However, if you look carefully, the forces of the orcs and the goblins are overrunning the town. We do not have the ability to kill all of them at once. Lucky, I need you to ask him if there's any way we can locate the commander of these orc forces. If we can take them out, we can take down the entire organization, and perhaps we can push back this, well, assault.
I mean, how would he know?
He seems fairly tall. Perhaps he can look around for someone who's putting up signals, or perhaps he might have a connection to
I
other
could
tree people.
climb. Well, the trees are on fire. There are people. We rappelled down from the wall, right?
There are people on the
You
wall.
are a decent bit away from the wall, but it's possible.
I mean, if you have a method of getting a message to the wall and back, then that would be optimal. But I don't think we do without running back to the wall, and that's going to take time. It would be best to try and find the commander out here. They're probably not going to be in the town. Military strategy suggests they're going to be a bit further back, which means that we would be closer to them here than we would be when we were at the town. If possible, I would like to find this commander and eliminate them.
Sorry to interrupt you one more time. What's everyone's passive perceptions?
14 for L.
13.
13?
15.
15. Rightio. In that case, Flynn and Lucky, both of you begin to hear more sounds from the approaching combat of these new tree people against now this orc force. Like a very large sound, like waves crashing against rocks. Every consecutive splash seems to get louder and louder, until eventually you begin to feel the soft patter of salt water against your cheek.
What is that?
Where is the sound coming from?
The sea.
The sea. So that's from the north.
It appears the father must have
larger
incited the Sunken King to make his move.
And then you kind of just see, you kind of just see Brutus stare at the sea, kind of look at you, says, I don't fancy getting drowned today. And he begins to make a dash for the wall.
With Brutus, go!
Alright.
So you guys begin now to run with Brutus towards the wall. And as you begin to run, your eyes now are fixed both on this new third force fighting these orcs and what seems to be the sea rising up. It is quite a chaotic spree at this point, and it seems like all of the townsfolk have kind of made their way back into the trenches, and once they see the waves as well, are making similarly their way back in towards the keep. So, and within a few moments of this intense splashing from the sea, all of you see it now as you kind of make your way up the wall, as Brutus and all the other guards kind of hoist you up. What could only be described as a tidal wave makes its way from shore towards this forest fire. And hits the side of the rocks, water flying over the forest, putting out most of the fires, actually. And after that, you kind of look down to see this. It seems like the tree people were able to brace against this, but the orcs, goblins were just swept away almost. They only just seem to be regathering themselves still as these wood people are foisting into them. It seems like there's another force coming out of the ocean as well. From this sea, this army, you can only describe it as, of fish people. Similar, but different to the ones you fought, the Shahagwins, sea trolls, but there's also feminine figures, disgusting, horrific faces with hair of seaweed. Shamans, you could only describe, holding totems and bone idols, letting out spells and other incantations. These ogres and trolls seem to look almost smaller in comparison to the ginormous sea trolls that make their way out of the sea. Shahagwins, not dressed in mere rags and reclaimed weapons, but in almost what looks like coral and like sea stone armor, clashing out against these forces. An organized military force seems to be coming out of the ocean. They seem to ignore the woods folk and just go for the goblinoid races. What are you guys doing?
Are we
Pushing, I guess.
are we holding onto the wall like securely? Is the water reaching up to where we are?
The water seems to actually, at the point where it's smashed against the keep, get up to almost the very top, but it doesn't actually get into the keep itself.
Right. Okay.
It seems like water was almost directed.
Right.
Can we get an assessment of the enemy forces from up here? What's their status?
Just roll me a perception check.
May I also roll that?
Yes, you may.
Okay. What is that crackling sound?
I feel like I would cracking sound.
It's fine. Sorry, I thought I heard a crackling sound. 16.
16?
20, 30, 20.
30, 20, rightio. So, Adam, you begin to see now the unorganized, sort of just tide of goblinoids and orcs didn't particularly have a sound strategy, as it didn't just to rush in and rush out. Probably what they were thinking. But now that they have been, one, disorganized by this tidal wave, two, with two new forces ramming in them from the wood side and from the sea, it seems like they're going up what seems to be a desperate defense, and it looks like they're beginning to rout.
Do we see any sign of like a leader that we were looking for before?
You don't necessarily see what seemed to be an orc leader, but definitely you notice, well, one from the, I guess, Sunken King army, and then one from the Grove Mother's army. The tree individual that you saw seemed to be taller and slightly more regal in the kind of just wooden carvings around his body. And he seems to be issuing orders in not a language that you understand, Lucky. It seems to be a different one. And then you also notice what seems to be a similar force or a similar leader coming from the fish men. However, it's not a sea troll or Shahagwan, but this quite hunched older woman you describe. She seems to be wearing the skull of some fish on her head, wearing what seems to be like bone armor while holding up a staff,
Huh.
crying out again in a language that you do not understand.
Looking at the orc forces from this vantage point, I'll be able to spot like either a group that would seem to be their command structure, or any like a leadership of any kind in the orc structure.
It does. It seems like near the back, it seems like a circle of orcs, goblins, and other races seem to be around what seem to be one larger individual.
Mm-hmm.
Seem to be actually clad in metal armor and holding out this kind of large battle axe.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you see them, it seems like they're actually making quite a successful getaway, making their way actually round the side of the forest and running away, essentially.
How far are they from where we are?
From where you are, about 250 to 300 feet away.
250 to 300 feet away.
Can our monk catch
That's-
them?
No, I was thinking of asking Flynn to chase, but I think that's
Oh, well,
too
he'll
far.
be alone, so.
Yeah, he'll be alone. That's too far. Let me think really quickly. Ooh, is it worth it? That's the question. The question is it worth it?
Lucky doesn't know anything about military strategy. She's just cheering on the tree people.
No, it's not worth it. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna. I just want to get as much information about that commander, the outfit surrounding him or her, the type of armor they're wearing, the type of weapons they have, whether any spellcasters are there. While watching them do the retreat, I just want to get as much information about them as possible.
Okay, roll me a separate perception check to see if you can get as much detail as you can.
All right.
I could say you have advantage because I would assume you would get some other group and maybe even some of the guards to get like details of this person as well.
Yeah, I would like ask the party and a couple other people to like watch them and try to point out any details. All right. That would be a 21 total.
21, yeah, you get a very good look at this individual. The actual, what you assume to be the orc chieftain, because from the way I'm going to describe him, it will make sense. He seems to be maybe a foot, maybe even a foot and a half taller than even the tallest orc in his retinue. Seems to be actually wearing kind of crude but still plate armor, black in color, and seems to have kind of very crude badges and what seem to be insignia, maybe even runes scribed onto the armor itself. He carries a large double axe, battle axe. He seems to be missing one eye, and a large set of tusks come out from his face. Slightly hunched and very, muscular. He seems to have a couple other of interesting individuals surrounding him as well. It seems like a female orc, older. You would probably assess some kind of shaman, as they are letting out spells out from a strange bone-like staff. And then beside him seems to be a similarly large orc, but not as large as the leader, you'd say, clad in what seemed to be kind of reclaimed chainmail armor, wielding what seems to be both a very large tower shield, but only seems to be like you'd say like a reclaimed door that's been like crafted into a shield, but an actual very nice bastard sword. This, along with a small retinue of other non important orcs, seem to be kind of making a breakthrough back through the woods, back to wherever they came from.
Right, okay. Are there any enemies still within 120 feet?
There are a couple, yes.
I'm gonna blast them.
I can say from your position, I'm not going to have you roll any attacks or things like that. The guards are letting out volley of arrows onto the remaining orcs, ogres, trolls, and goblins down. And it seems like with this, essentially, three forces, with the town, the Sunken King, and the Grove Mother, they quickly mop up the rest of the orcs.
I'm gonna be careful and firebolt any trolls that I see.
Idea. It seems like there are actually quite a large contingent of trolls in this army, but it seems like with your assistance, and it seems like even the knowledge of these people, you see tree individuals kind of taking fire from the trees that are still embering onto their arrows and shooting it into the the trolls, and even the Sunken King forces, their shamans and what seems to be their magic casters are lighting it up with fire spells and even a couple of chilling touches.
Right. That makes sense.
So in the better part of maybe 10 minutes, the rest of the forces are swept away. And combat, I guess, for the whole town is over. These forces now kind of congregate just outside of the keep's walls, both the forest people and the Sunken King's forces. What do you guys do?
I guess I would try and look for the medical area and help out there.
Are any of you hurt?
Yeah. So try to look to see if anybody's like down so that she can heal.
It seems like most of the wounded of the town, whence these new forces came in, gave the town some respite to collect the wounded and even just retreat back. So most of them seem to be in the medical bay that they had set up previously to the combat.
Is anyone in the party like hurt bad besides me?
I'm hurt a little, but I'm okay.
Do you want to heal?
Nope.
Okay.
I have heal.
All right.
Right here, so you begin to make your way down towards the medical tent. What are the rest of you doing?
I would like to go to the temple. I want to check in on the father.
Jay and Alexis, or Flynn, sorry, Flynn and Alexis, what are you doing?
I'll just try and help anybody I can see, so I might go down to the medical tents too, I guess.
Alexis?
Yeah, me too, I guess.
Okay, so most of the group seem to be making their way either to collect the wounded from the battlefield or assisting those with magical healing or even just some base mundane mundane healing, and Adam is making his way towards the temple. It seems like the fish people forces as well seem to offer some aid as well, but the tree people, the Grove Brothers forces, you assume, aren't offering any assistance in what seems to be medical expertise. So you make your way over towards the temple. Takes you a few minutes, but you kind of rush in. The doors seem to be locked and closed, but there does seem to be like what you assume to be another paladin or maybe a cleric just standing at the door.
Is the father in?
He kind of looks at you, gives you a nod.
Let me in.
Kind of looks at you, considers it, shrugs, and he opens the door for you.
All right. I'm going to ask the first person I see where the father is.
So you kind of walk into a church essentially, and it seems like most of the pews have been set aside, and what seem to be blankets and tarps have begun to be laid out. It seems like they're attempting to make this like a secondary medical area for the overflow of forces, if there is any. and what seem to be some of the using auxiliary medics, kind of like looks. He says, he's still in the ritual area.
Has he not emerged?
Not yet.
All right, I'll wait for him. Were you attacked? Was the temple breached? Are all of you fine?
There were some forces that managed to slip through the lines, but our auxiliary forces were able to quell most of them, and we even were able to capture a couple.
Were there any auxiliary attacks from other directions other than the south? Any orcs coming in from the north or the east?
It doesn't seem like it. They all came down from the one area, it seems.
Very well. All right, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit around near the tablet, just waiting for the father to emerge.
They offered to let you down into the underground ritual area to wait for him if you so please.
Yeah, that's. I'd like to wait like right outside the pool.
So essentially, they lead you over to the stone wall, the stone door. They say some arcane words, and the door opens for you, and they allow you in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and wait.
While you wait, I'm going to head back to the medical tent. So, can I get some medicine checks just from everyone that is assisting the medical?
Right.
What if avarice fails me today?
17 for one.
17? What are you saying, Alexis?
What if avarice fails me again? 14, that's not too bad.
It's not bad, yeah.
26
So,
for luck.
26, wow. 26, 17, 14, 21. Rightio. So you guys, Lucky and Elle, you seem to be just offering both your medical expertise along with your magical prowess to heal wounds at the bare minimum, so you have enough to give around to the whole group, as it seems like many of the town's guards suffered quite grievous injuries. Burns, lacerations, stabs, cuts, broken bones. Not a nice sight to see. So you're kind of divvying out as much as you can, as little as you can, so you can get as many people to help as possible. But with both a mixture of your magical prowess and your medical knowledge, you're able to save a good number of them. Jane, Alexis, while you both have medical prowess that you can offer, it seems like they have enough of that. So you are more focused on rushing through what seem to be the areas of combat, grabbing any survivors and dragging them back to the medical tent. And with both of your kind of height and agility, you do this to an extent where you seem to grab people that are at the very edges of life, bring them back, and give them medical expertise they need to survive. You save quite a few lives on the battlefield as well.
Nice.
Nice.
Yay.
One thing you will notice as well as you kind of back out in the battlefield, grabbing these bodies, it seems like while the tree folk are not as organized as they first appeared, they just seem to be now standing around waiting for something. The fish people seem to be actually organizing like a regimented military. Ranks have begun to set up. Soldiers are now actually in formation, and this older hag woman who seems to be in the front of formation kind of catches your eye, and she kind of stares at you. But you don't have time to look at that as you're grabbing bodies and bring them back to the medical tent. So this goes on for the better part of the next couple hours of this giving out medical expertise, grabbing bodies, and retrieving eventually the dead from the battlefields. So Adam,
Yes.
at this point, maybe 2 or 3 hours have passed since you began to wait for the father. And eventually you begin to hear some noises coming out from that watery, essentially, hole that is in the area next to the ritual space.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear splashing movement of water and then bubbles raising up from it. And you see 2 wet hands pull himself up from the watery depths.
I'll offer a
Completely naked.
hand.
You offer out your hand, your cold metallic hand, and the one that grabs it is translucent. You can see veins and even the bones in his hands grip yours as you pull him out.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen the father, but you can't really get a description of him because it seems like his entire flesh
Mm-hmm.
is transparent. you can see right through it. You can see the organs, the bones, the nervous system, and the blood vessels running through his body. He looks like a human biology display. He kind of gets up, and you see him gasping for air.
Cure wounds.
You cure wounds. It doesn't seem like he's taken actually any damage.
Okay.
He kind of just like points at the what you assume to be like a sacrificial table. He points at it. It seems like he's not actually like he's asking for your help to get him there.
Okay, I will lift him and lay him down on the table.
So you kind of lift him up, drag him to the table, and you see now some of the acolytes are now rushing over what seems to be some clothes for him. And he kind of just sits up and begins to cross his legs, and you see him begin to mumble what seemed to be some, again, strange languaged prayer. And as he begins to utter these strange foreign words to you, you begin to see from the tips of his toes and fingers kind of pigmentation begin to return. Sort of light pigmentation all around his body, until eventually he resembles a normal human again.
Are you unharmed?
Sort of looks up at you. And for the first time, you see the father now, not dressed in his robes and his mask. And what you see is quite an unremarkable man. About maybe 5'10", shaved head, kind of, again, very bright blue eyes. But other than that, very average build, average face. Nothing extraordinary about him. And then after he does what seemed to be this ritual prayer to get back his pigmentation in his skin, he begins to dress himself back in the robes that you have become synonymous with his character.
Are you unharmed?
And then he kind of just stands there, looks up at you. Right. The town safe?
Safe. Wounded, lots of them, but the forces of the Sunken King, the Grove Mother, and ourselves managed to repel the attack. It's not able to get the commander, however.
Oh, fiddle. Well, you said it was like the mother's forces? They came as well?
The orcs that fired the forest. The Grove Mother didn't
my.
take very kindly to that.
Right, well, I wasn't aware of that. So the Sunken King sent his forces, did he?
Yes, the tidal wave actually wiped out the fire and most of the orcs.
That's good. That's good. Seems like I appeased him well enough.
What did you
He sounds
lose?
like a large inhale of air. Oh, well, that's...
What did you lose in there? What did you give up for this? That was no small help the Sunken King gave. That could not have come at no price.
You'll see in dear time, my boy. Soon
Boy!
Enough.
I am an order of magnitude older than you are, yet that somehow amuses me.
Yes. Right. Well. Oh, breathing fresh air. Ah, you take that for granted. Right.
I don't know. I don't need to breathe.
I need to go and speak to the forces, mine and theirs. Would you help me? I'm still quite fatigued.
Come. I'll offer him a shoulder so that he can walk well.
It seems like he takes your help quite happily, and with your assistance makes his way up the stairs and makes his way out. The paladins and the clerics all let out very audible sighs of relief when they see the father. Says, right, thank you, my children. Now, this is good enough. Now, go to the medical area and bring any of the overflow wounded here. Brother Ilias, if you would. And he hands him what seems to be like a cane, or not a cane, so more like a staff. And with this, along with your help, he begins to pick up the pace slightly.
I will get one of the apostles to help him walk around and go, I need to see to my people. Are you going to be alright on your own?
I will make my way in short order.
Alright, I'm gonna
You go first.
I'm gonna head over to the tent to find the rest of the team.
Right, party. Is there anything that you would have done with your time after that you could have healed all those you could have healed and brought back all that you would have brought back?
At that point, are the other armies still there, or have they left?
The tree people, the children of the mother's forces, seem to be a bit disorganized, but they're kind of congregated into a small group near the medical tent, kind of just looking on at the people offering aid. And the sunken king's forces seem to again organize themselves, and they again seem to be offering medical aid. They're shamans and what seems to be their clerics. You'd reckon offering healing and things like that. And also them bringing back what seems to be the bodies of the fallen, and also organizing into a large pile the bodies of the dead orcs, goblins, trolls, and other forces such as that.
If anything changed over the few hours. Okay. Well, Elle wants to talk to both. I mean, obviously she's not gonna be able to talk, but she's curious. So I guess we'll go to one of the shamans, one of the fish people shamans. And just kind of look up at her. I assume that are they tall?
No, they're actually quite short.
Oh, okay.
They stand. I did mention this earlier that the fishmen are human size, but they're smaller on the human size. None of them are taller than about 5'6", and these shamans seem to be at most maybe 5'2", 5 foot.
Oh,
quite small.
Okay. Yeah, Elle wants to try to go over to one of the shamans and just kind of go up to her and go, "Hey." Oh shoot. Do you she just like starts gesturing wildly. Translator, do you guys have it? I'll have to put this on my list of languages to learn.
They kind of grab your hand and then they point.
Okay, alright, where is it pointing at?
You're pointing at what seems to be that the person that you kind of identified as the leader of the Sun King's forces.
Okay. Thank you. Sirs and madams, and I guess she'll walk towards that figure.
This figure now.
Say,
Just butchered like.
So this is. I'm just gonna get a picture of what this person looks like. 1 second. So this person seems to be now kind of just almost squatting in front of her forces, kind of just looking on at you. Seem to begin letting out this small sort of prayer now and again. That's what she looks like.
That's cool.
Where?
Where is it?
On Roll20.
Oh, Roll 20.
Oh,
Yeah, Roll20.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna zoom in for the sake of the stream.
Okay, cool.
So this person looks at you, kind of lets in a large intake of air. Hello.
Oh, hi. Do you have like some magical stuff you like wipe on my forehead and we can speak the same languages or something like that?
No, we do not. But I have been gifted the teachings of the common tongue, as you put it.
Okay. You guys are like really cool. What's your deal?
We were rallied by the king to send aid to our surface worshippers. So we came. You are the forces of individual prowess. We saw. The king has rewarded you with a boon. You must claim it, however.
Claim it.
Yes. You and your group distinguish yourself on the field of battle. So you have been elected to receive a boon. Again, every time she lets in, like an inhale, her gills on the side of her neck kind of open up to intake this air.
What boon?
That is not for me to know.
That's right. You have to go do the thing, and you get the thing. Right, that's how that works. Huh. Well, that's really, generous of him.
You, out of no need of your own, offered your assistance to help the king and his people. He rewards selfless acts, as you have done.
Okay. I dig that. Where do you guys live?
We live in the sunken kingdom. The place of our king. His domain.
Wow, that'd be cool to visit. To put that on the list.
Receive the right boon, and you may.
Awesome. Well, it was an honor to serve alongside you guys. This is pretty cool.
You are most welcome.
I guess just let me know if you need anything. I'll be hanging around for a little bit.
She says nothing else.
Okay.
Networking with fish people. Nice job.
I like how Ella's going complete Valley Girl on this like freaking creature. That's like I love it.
Also, this horrific looking creature, wearing the bodily remains of several different kinds of fish, bone armor, a bone-like, almost javelin/staff, horrific sharp-pointed teeth, glowing blue eyes, and runes across her flesh. She looks horrific, but Anu's like, "Sup, bro?"
Yeah,
You guys are real cool. Big fan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she'll just go back to the rest of the party and be like, I think I know where I need to live now.
Idea.
I'm gonna about to go do the same thing to the tree people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also, we'll go with you. She wants to see
Yeah,
what they say.
let's go.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Flynn, what are you doing?
I'm just around helping wherever I can, really. I don't
Cool,
have
cool.
any specific task.
All right. So, Lucky, you make your way up towards these tree people. Again, they have kind of congregated in a small group around each other. Not really saying anything, just looking at each other. And eventually, as you walk up, all of them turn their gaze towards you.
Do I recognize the same one I was speaking to before?
Yes, there seems to be one kind of leading the group, and is the one that you spoke to earlier.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, hello again, and thank you again for your help. Do you need anything? Are you waiting for something?
The mother informed us, firstly, of new children in the forest. Then she informed us of great atrocity and defilers. We did not know that there were already children fighting against the defilers.
New children. Oh, how far is this place from where I planted the potatoes?
Oh, you planted the potatoes in that forest. In
Yeah,
the same
like
place we fought those
The
oak.
potatoes.
No, yeah. So how far are we from that place?
Oh, from that place, it'd be a bit of a jog, but you could make it in there in about 5-10 minutes.
Then I'll tell them. These new children, are there 3 of them?
There were 3, yes.
Do you want to go check on them with me?
Kind of like cocks his head in curiosity. Yes.
All right. Come on then. She's gonna scamper away where she planted them.
Like you kind of just seen this kind of implacid face like turn to like slightly raised eyebrow, like, as he begins to take large steps to follow you. You make it there. The patch of the area that you bear the potatoes does seem to be surrounded by dead trees and quite a few corpses of what seem to be the lesser spawn of the grove. But the actual area where you planted your potatoes was actually a small outcropping where there was no trees. So it looks like all the ground may be covered in ash. Doesn't look it's been burnt or anything like that.
Oh, cool. I don't know enough about plants to know if I dig them up to check on them, is it gonna like be bad or?
Well, as long as you don't disturb them, because yeah, you've planted them, but they're potatoes. So as long as you don't like remove the roots, if they have essentially taken place by this point, you can essentially just remove the dirt, like covering them, and then replace it, and they should be fine.
Can Maya, the actual real life druid, confirm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like over here getting excited with my plant now.
Yeah, you should be playing this. Yeah, and then I'll just like maybe uncover one and show him if they're okay.
So you uncover the one that looks like a human heart. And it seems like its roots have sunken in quite deep, actually, at this point. Far deeper than you'd ever suspect in a day that you planted them. Kind of looks down at
the
it.
blood of your enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of kneels down to the point where he's now eye level with you, goes down to stare at this potato, places one finger on it, and then you begin to see this potato essentially grow even faster. The roots sink in deeper and deeper, and you see it begin to grow. It turns into what seems to be like almost a humanoid form. The heart begin to be wrapped around by roots and vines until a rough, smaller version of this tree person is born. It opens its eyes, looks at you, and it has kind of blood red eyes. Its roots red as well.
That's creepy.
Oh my god, so cute.
Elle just takes a couple steps backward, just in shock.
Look, he's like crying tears of joy. No, she's gonna dig up the other two so he can do that as well.
So just to describe this person in a bit more detail, they look like essentially a human child, maybe about 10 years old, roughly by the size they are.
Wow.
Their body is essentially constructed of roots and vines that make essentially a humanoid appearance. There's no like clear gender, like it's like an agenderous form. There's no genitalia or anything like that. And the only distinguishing features of other than these roots are its kind of glowing, kind of red eyes that kind of stare at you. You unearth the two other potatoes, and he does it again, just touch, and both of them grow into these rough approximation of humans. However, one of the potatoes that already looked like a human actually comes out slightly more feminine, and I believe the other one. What did the other one look like? There was the human heart, the one that looked like an actual person.
Oh shit! I need to go in. When did I buy potatoes? Hold on.
I didn't take down what these potatoes looked like. Well, whatever it looked like, this one comes out slightly more masculine as well.
Right.
So no genitalia, but you can definitely just tell by their form. One is far more feminine, one's far more masculine, and then the one just seems to be just agenderous. All three of them just kind of come out, could just sort of stare at you. And this taller, far taller tree person that you took with you says, "It has been many a while since we've had a child of your ilk that can plant these children to such a successful degree. Oh, the mother will be most proud. Well done." protected them well.
Oh, thank you. Lucky's just like blushing.
I was just looking between the tree person and the tiny tree person and the tree person and the tiny tree person. And she just said, "Is this how druids make babies?"
I need to find one that looks like a cat.
To be fair, the one thing that distinguishes them from this tree person, they're far more, well, traditional tree looking, kind of brown bark with a kind of light green energy kind of emanating from certain portions of it. These ones are different. They are crimson red kind of in color by the roots, and their eyes are also glowing red.
Well, she's gonna say, much life has been lost today, but I'm glad that there were 3 new ones that were born. I noticed that they look a little different from you. Is there a reason for that? Did I do it wrong?
No. They take on rough forms of the one that planted them. Many of our ilk plant our own seeds, so they come out like us. You planted them yourself, but in the blood of an enemy. So some may take on the form of you, or the enemy that you've slain.
Oh.
This is fucking metal.
Like,
I'm gonna grow
like,
children with
grabs
the
her
blood of my
notebook, starts
fucking
scribbling this
enemies? Like, yes!
And whoever said that, whoever's a druid's kind of metal is fucking wrong.
This is... Like,
Yeah. So these
druids
three
don't need to
individuals-
wear metal, they're metal enough already.
Yeah. So these trees now begin to kind of like look around in their environment, kind of like looking around, looking at each other, and they begin to essentially like touch each other, like kind of begin to feel of it. Like they're experimenting with their new senses that they've just been given, essentially.
Oh, babies.
Children born in the fires and blood of war. They shall be fearsome warriors. Come, children. And they almost kind of just instinctually begin to follow him back to the group. He stops before he gets too far away from him. He says, "You are worthy." And then walks away.
Bye, children. Take care.
Seriously, just have children, Lucky. What just happened?
At least they didn't call me Mama. That would have been creepy.
You do speak to them, however, and all of them turn around and say, kind of, almost, it's eerily similar similar it is to your voice. Goodbye.
Oh.
And
Dang.
then walk away. One of them, I should mention, one of them sounds like you. The agenderous one sort of sounds like you. The feminine one just sounds like a more feminine version, and then the male one sounds oddly like an ogre.
That makes sense.
So it's more like your voice, goodbye, for bye, and then bye. And then they walk away.
There's so many possibilities.
Did that
Do you
just
follow
sound
them,
like
or do you-
trees creaking to me? Is that what their language sounds like?
I guess, I mean, their language does have actual... It's like Entish, where it's kind of long and drawn out, but not as slow. So are you following them, or are you just kind of leaving them be to follow the tree person?
Wait, they're going separately? Are they going to...
Like, actually, this tree person is leading them back to, like, the large congregation of other tree people.
In the town,
Yeah, I guess we'll go back.
right?
They're,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
medical tent.
And at this point, Adam, you make your way back and back to the medical tent where your group is, and you're going to see Lucky and Elle seem to be following this tree person with 3 other smaller, redder tree people.
Ah, perfect. Lucky. You're just the one I'm looking for.
Yes, what is it?
Well, first, you did really well out there, and I heard Alexis and you worked together to save me from one of the guards. That was brave of you.
Wait, what?
And L too, like when I went
right.
down.
Oh, Sorry, I forgot.
I owe my life to the three of you. Well done.
It's just what you do. Nothing special.
That being said, Lucky, I would appreciate if for a moment you could act as interpreter between me and this entity, and I point to the tree person.
Oh, of course. I'm just gonna call out to him. Excuse me, my friend here wants to talk to you.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, this person looks down at you.
Mhm.
Kind of, he ushers the children back towards the group. They kind of just stand front and center as close to you as possible.
Mhm.
Like they're in the group of the tree people, but they're kind of just staring at you now.
Okay. Who else is around here? Is it just Lucky, Elle, and me?
Well, Flynn and Alexis are like very close within the area, but they're not immediately within the group unless they want to kind of rejoin the group.
Okay. Well, whoever's around, I'm gonna say, regardless of what may occur, do not be hostile in any way. Or try
are
not
you-
to be.
Talking about.
Well, I have committed an action and I wish to ensure that the ground is good between us and them. And I'm going to turn and like, Lucky, are you ready to interpret?
Sure.
I'm going to
Just
turn to
assume
the...
that I say exactly what he says.
Okay. Alright. I'm going to turn to the tree person and say, when we saw the fires raging, I made a decision and asked my members of my team and also some others to set a second fire. We killed many trees in the forest in order to protect the rest of it and also the town. A lot of them died by the fire that was started by the orcs, yes, but a lot of them died by my hand as well. If there is to be recompense to be made for this action, I would ask that, being the person who instigated it, it come only upon me and not upon the rest of my people.
Now, Lucky, would you change anything that is being said?
I would
Otherwise,
also
I'll take it
add
for what
on
you want.
that
Mhm.
we did try to warn the spawn the grove to get away before we burned it down, and also we burned it down to prevent even more damage.
Will I notice that Lucky is adding on anything to what I said? Probably not, but will I?
No,
Probably
you
not.
have
I'll
ideas.
interpret directly and then add on behind it.
Okay.
I would say, like, you're an unfamiliar with the language, so you do not know how certain words can be pronounced and how long certain words can be. So it could just be, oh, it's just certain bits might be taking a bit longer, or I'm going too fast for her.
Okay, fair
She's
enough.
just trying to catch up.
Fair enough. And then I'm going to look directly at this tree person in front of me and just wait for a response.
You see this tree person's kind of, again, usher these children away, look down, and then kneel down to stare you eye to eye at him. I have but one question, Metal Man. When you burnt those trees, was it maliciously, with good heart in mind?
I will, is Lucky, responding to this? I mean, is this Lucky translating?
I assume she's
I'm
translating.
translating.
for you.
Yeah?
Okay. There was no malicious intent. No. The fire was approaching us at speed, and if we had let it remain in its course, it would have not only burnt the entire forest, but the town as well, and that was something I had to prevent.
Well, looks at you.
And as for a slight correction, a lot of people call me a metal man, and because I'm wounded and there's like an opening in my chest, I'm going to pull aside some of the pieces of armor that I'm wearing, the breastplate, and some of the stone that covers my body, and reveal that it's all wood on the inside. And say, I am not that much different from you. I reveal like the wood that's actually inside my body.
Ooh, okay, you told him that. He was going to say something, and then you uttered out these words, and Lucky would have translated. Seeing your wooden interior, you kind of see his expression darken slightly.
Can I interject something?
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna say, well, these rest assured, he's not made from any of your children or any of the wood up here, actually.
He says this. Man made of children long since dead. We recognize your good-hearted nature, but you are a mockery of what we stand for. You shall not be labeled as a defiler, but watchers shall be sent. However, I feel they're already watching you.
I am all
And
right
with that, he then looks at Lucky. Be careful with his ilk. He is from a world long since dead, from a cycle long since finished.
Sorry,
You cut out
cutting
there.
a little bit.
We couldn't hear
Yeah,
what
sorry.
you said.
What was the last thing you heard?
We heard be careful with
Watch
his
out
ilk.
for his ilk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this person says, watch out for his ilk. He is from a cycle long since done with. They cannot continue.
Oh boy.
I don't translate this.
Mm-hmm. He looks at you, Adam. He gives you a nod. And he says one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Though you may be a mockery, you have done us a good this day. He then gets up from his kneeling position and kind of walks back towards the group with the 3 redder trees. And with this, the Sunken King forces kind of make their way there. Right. You there, wood and metal man.
I will turn.
Yes.
My name is Adam.
That's my fish
She kind of looks at you when she says that. What? I did not bear you in one of my clutches.
She means that as a metaphor. Regardless, you have to have words with me, yes?
I have words with your group.
We are here. We are free.
Yeah, so at this point, I assume the whole group is assembled now. Your actions have been noted by the king, and all of you are eligible for a boon. The Father, as he calls it, shall show you the ways to retrieve their boons. Thank you.
Thank you for not abandoning us to our fates.
Mel will bow respectfully.
You see this fish person kind of look up at these tree people as well.
Mm-hmm.
You, points at Lucky, you speak their wooden tongue.
I do. Yes.
Convert my words to their language.
I'm gonna whisper. I'm gonna whisper.
Today.
I'm gonna whisper to Lucky. Be careful in your words. Measure them. These are strong forces. It's a big responsibility.
Okay.
Kind of looks up the tree people. We saved what we could. You have done right by our surface worshippers, and so we attempted to do right by you. I and the king am sorry for your loss. That's all she says.
Okay, I'll translate it.
Mhm.
Best thing.
Tree person doesn't say anything. They give a nod. Well, we must be off. Goodbye. And you see her and her forces. She begins to say things in this strange tongue, and the forces begin to now make their way back toward the sea and enter it, and soon they disappear.
When she's far away, I'm gonna say the thing that she does with her nose. Just
Sorry, what'd you say, Alexis?
the
Technically,
thing.
it's not something she does with her nose. She does it with her gills.
Yeah.
Oh, the gasping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, I agree. It is unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about Luke when he does that. It sounds painful.
No, that is fine. I've done far worse voices.
I'm going to turn. Has the father arrived? He was right behind me.
Yeah, so at this point, the father has arrived, and before this individual jumps into the sea, essentially, he has a very quick conversation with them.
Mhm.
Again, in this, what you now recognize as a primordial tongue. And then the father makes his way over towards your group and the tree people.
Are the tree people still here?
The tree people seem to be like gathering their stuff, and they're beginning to make their way back in towards the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But the larger one, the one that essentially has these three small children with them at his feet, seem to be staying behind.
Lucky it appears you might be an interpreter once more. Quite a promotion.
Like
You should ask to be
It's
paid.
fine. I speak their tongue. It's fine.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't speak the one you speak. The druidic, I believe. Sylvan is what I know.
Ah.
Old scriptures
Oh.
and such.
I've been able to speak that this entire time.
Oh.
Yes, to be fair, whenever they speak, they don't speak in Sylvan, they speak in Druidic, because that's what they kind of recognize as the human version of their tongue, essentially. If you could, I mean,
That's hilarious that you've been able to speak Sylvan this whole time.
I didn't even know you could speak Sylvan. Idea.
So Flynn can understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
now.
so Flynn, you can understand what's actually being said. He says, the father steps up and says, "Thank you for the assistance you gave us to our town. We will do our best to do right by you and try and attend to the forest as best as we can. You have my solemn word and the word of our king that I can attempt to do something to help your forest." The tree person kind of speaks back, in both Druidic and Sylvan. "Thank you. These three," you're gonna push these forward, "shall be the new guardians of the forest. They shall watch over it, and as they grow, they shall help what remains flourish." I will be staying in the burnt remains to help regrow and train these new ones. Leave me undisturbed in my duties and help where you can. We shall be fine. Father nods. And then he begins to walk into the forest with these three blood-red tree people. Well, that went quite well.
This was a fun war. It didn't last.
I almost died.
Yes.
On which note, Alexis, thank you for saving me. That risk to yourself, that was heroic.
What?
You saved me
Oh, yeah.
there when I went down. That was very heroic of you.
Oh yes, about that. Yeah, I don't care.
Wow.
Alexis is a tsundere, guys. Alexis is a tsundere confirmed. I'm just going to. If I had a mouth, I'd be smiling, but
Wait, you don't have a mouth? Wait, what?
Look at the picture of
Oh,
Adam.
yeah.
It's just eyes and a face.
Oh yeah, you don't.
Wow.
Okay. I definitely know.
Gonna tend to the father. What now?
Well, if I heard correctly, you've all been seen fit to receive a boon.
What does that entail exactly?
Well, I was about to explain. It would take time, and I think all of you deserve rest before I get into this business.
Fair enough.
Just know that you have to complete some ritual.
Oh, come
And-
on.
Yes, no, it's nothing. Well, it is
Yeah.
something. It won't be
You were-
difficult.
We were supposed to defeat a bunch of fish people and go through this stupid.
Alexis, we will be heading out soon enough.
I don't like this town.
I
You
don't
say
know.
to the leader.
We
Alright.
just spilled some blood in defense of it. I am growing to like it, although I do not have blood myself. But yes, I'm. Come on, Alexis. It's growing on you just a little bit.
Well, I'm saddened that you do not like our town. But still, it won't be a difficult procedure. You just have to submerge yourselves in a holy pool. You shall have an encounter. You will either ask for what you wish or be given it. And then you will emerge, so long as you don't disrespect him, of course.
Oh, we get to meet that god person of yours.
Possibly you may get to meet either an emissary or himself. Depends
How
on...
would one disrespect him?
How would you disrespect me?
By
I
saying
say
something
we don't like your
rude,
town. Looking at
I
it.
Do you remember how when we met I asked if I could meet your god person? See how the tables have turned.
You get your
may get to
wish.
meet him. You may get your merit. Yes, yes. Just if it would insult yourself or me,
Okay.
don't.
I would
Okay, but
very
wouldn't
much.
say anything rude. I just don't know if, like, if I don't take my shoes off before I enter or something like that. Like, I don't
Well,
know,
it is
like, how
traditional.
small things
Well,
piss off the god, you know?
Well, it is traditional to enter the holy pool, naked, but it's not required.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about the shoes thing. That's fine.
No. No, just common politeness should see you through this day.
Father, you need some rest. Perhaps we can discuss this in further detail.
That's why I said we'll do this tomorrow. I am
Yes.
sapped in full strength.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Of course.
Earlier I asked you what you gave up for this, and you said I would find out.
Yes. Time.
Fair
Give up
enough.
time.
That is a big ask and a big
No,
gift.
it's not. It was nothing I would not already give. I was ready to give far, far more than what the king had offered. If anything, he was being very generous with what he told.
How much time, if you do not mind my asking?
Enough.
How long does the town have you?
I don't let the men rest.
Fair enough.
That's
He's
Fair
been through
enough.
enough today.
Something-
I am inquisitive by nature. Forgive me.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just, it's a quite a private matter, if you understand.
I understand that.
One does not usually have a finite time for one's demise.
Right. But again, rest, please. Do you need any assistance?
No, my associates and my acolytes shall assist me in my recuperation. But go to the tavern. I have instructed them to give you but the very best tonight. You're heroes to this town. Should be treated as such.
How many were dead? Who can I speak to know of the casualties of the town?
Speak to Sister Almera. She will be counting the dead.
Very well. You should get some rest, Father. And we should too. Look to the rest of the party.
Yes, please.
Let's retire.
So you begin to make your way back to assume the Wayward Sun Tavern.
I'm assuming, yeah.
I'm gonna ask Adam. Adam, why do you want to know about the dead?
There are consequences to actions, and sometimes those consequences come naturally. Other time, the consequences have to be enacted by deliberate action on the parts of the wronged. I wish to know just how many townsfolk lost their lives to know how much of a price the orcs are going to have to pay.
It seems like they lost quite a lot out there themselves.
That is true, but those were consequences of their own actions. The townsfolk did, as far as we can tell, no harm, no injustice against those orcs, and yet this attack, unprovoked and savage. And it irks me to no end, Lucky, that commander left this battlefield alive. That is a wrong that must be righted at some point. However, I also cannot afford to lead us too far astray from our mission at hand, so we'll talk about this more later when we have more information.
Right.
But for now, let's get free drinks. And have a good night.
You lots are going to have free drinks. I do not drink.
But you can
You
still
try?
drink. You can.
Hold them.
I still don't understand how you can fit that much liquid within yourself without exploding. It boggles my mind.
You
You
can,
can
take
try.
you can take a page from Alexa's book and try submersing yourself in the liquid. Maybe that'll work. You know,
I'll
wood.
put them.
Put them where, Alexis? Do you see any orifices on my head?
Eyes.
My eyes are not orifices. Like there's actual like it's like glass, and then there's a blue glow behind my eyes. There's no orifices.
Can you make one?
Potentially, but where would it lead?
I don't know.
Where would it lead?
Alright, yes, let's get turnkey.
Do you know how you have like this fight mode and this normal mode thing?
Yes, and then I'm going to like switch my head back to combat mode. You mean this?
Yes. How about have a drunk mode?
Well,
That sort of intoxicates you like it does with. It's worth it.
That's a creative idea, I like that.
I will say that on another day I would entertain this idea, but honestly, I am at what, half my hit points, so maybe not right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, here, let me. I forgot that you're literally torn open. My bad. Let me take care of that. We'll do
Wait.
you.
Wouldn't it be easier to do if you're half torn open?
Oh, well.
Why don't
That's a
you?
1, so you get 5.
Can I ask Alexis to roll a persuasion check for me?
Yes, you may. Roll the persuasion check, Alexis.
What we roll a 20? I roll a 20. 25.
Natural 20. Natural 20.
What?
This is my
Yeah,
first
it's in the
20
chat. Look at
of
it.
the
It's
campaign.
there.
Oh my god.
Adam, look at
Very
that.
well,
Look at Adam.
very well. As
Adam,
your,
look at it.
as
Look at
yeah,
Look at
I saw it. Very well. You did
I
save my
rolled a
life,
Yeah,
and I do owe you a debt, and you did save my life. Give me an hour, and I should have something that resembles a mouth. Although I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to make it lead.
Goodness gracious.
Alright.
All right. I'm gonna accept the healing from L, and then I'm gonna go up to my room and start working on like a new faceplate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much do I get healed for, by the way?
5.
5. Okay, good enough. I'm no longer bloodied.
So, are you still going to go and see Sister Minera?
I was planning on doing that tomorrow, not now.
Radio. Cool. So, everyone, you make your way over towards the Wayward Tavern, and most nights it is, very packed. Tonight, there are extra tables and chairs sort of on the outside of the town, or sort of on the outside of the tavern, essentially, leading from the front door. And the moment that you guys begin to make your way towards there are battered, bruised, and kind of broken soldiers, like lifting up mugs, saying, "Hey, thank you." And then townfolk as well, coming over and just shoving what seemed to be food, drink, and even small amounts of coin into your hands.
Oh wow.
I am
Wait,
uncomfortable with this.
Well-
yeah, this is weird.
And
Yeah.
as this crowd begins to kind of just surround you, you're almost pulled into the tavern itself, where they
Oh,
seem
boy.
to kind of set up what seems to be this center table, where they kind of almost forcibly kind of put you down, and everyone now, the music begins to play properly.
Alright.
I'm
Elsa
hiding-
accepting any drink that she's handed.
I'm hiding in the crowd like last time.
Roll me a stealth check at disadvantage, because everyone is looking for you currently.
Okay.
For once, not maliciously.
Oh wow. I rolled a 1. Of course I
Yeah.
rolled a 1.
You cannot escape the crowd. You cannot
The
escape the
extremes.
admiration they have for you. They drag you kicking and screaming into your chair. Hugs and drinks are given in to you. You hate it, but you love it.
As I would come down at this point.
1 second, I'm looking for a good picture of a Warforged face.
There is none.
No, there's a couple. I'm looking for one where there's a mouth. Because I know what I want, but I can't find it. Okay, you know what? I'll just describe it, right? So after a while, I come down, and it's the same face, right? It's the exact same face. But what happens is slowly a seam line appears where the jaw would be, and like my jaw opens, and I go, and it actually like animates as I speak, and I'm like, does this humor you?
Whoa.
There's like 20 different moving parts to like simulate lips when lips move, so it looks a lot more natural. So it looks like kind of an organic stone and metal and wood kind of thing.
Elle just like gestures for you to come over, and then she's just gonna like start feeling your face.
Yes, you may feel it. You may feel it.
Wait. Can you stuff things down now?
I have in fact created a funnel leading into a small cavity in my chest, which contains a small storage device that can be removed and cleaned. So
I grab a jug of ale and I put him up his chest really nice and go, drink.
there you go. I'm going to.
Wait,
What is this
Wait,
music?
what is this music?
I don't know. I can't RPG. What the fuck is this? I don't know. 1 minute. Don't know what the
It's
fuck
lit
that
in
was.
here, man. Party.
Nope.
I have to say,
I
We
don't
got
know
a
what that
DJ
was.
and everything.
I'm just looking for tavern that's vegetable music. What the hell that?
so here's the kicker, right? I don't know why I had it prepared, but I had purified food and drink prepared. So as I drink the ale and it goes into my thing, it starts ritual casting purified food and drink in my chest,
What?
and it turns into water, and I pull out a bottle of water like after 20 minutes.
The mother bird is just regurgitating water.
oh, you're not supposed to make it into drinking with water. Nobody's going to drink that.
You
That's
have
you,
just
bro.
reduced
Well,
the
I-
value
I-
of this alcohol.
I figured that if I was going to be able to put things within myself, I might as well have a function for it. If I have to be out in the wild and we do not have any food or drink, and we simply have tainted food, you could get me to eat it, and then after eating it, it will, cleanse itself
Yeah.
within my body.
I think that's
You're
smart,
not
Adam.
You're not eating or drinking something that comes out of you.
I will. She'll snatch the water and start drinking it.
Yeah, it's
Freaky.
water.
It tastes like distilled water.
Like
just
this.
like snap it back in place wherever his little water filter thing.
It's it's a tiny like it's like a 500 milliliter bottle in my chest.
Oh jeez.
Did you just turn your warforged into a water filter?
Listen, all right, he rolled
Yes,
a
he
nat
has.
20. He rolled a nat 20 persuasion check. All right, this is the best I could do.
Nice.
So finally, as you to have this bit of fun after the grueling ordeal you go through, the music begins to pick up, and the kind of tavern's atmosphere, though with broken and bruised peoples, the mood is electric. They have been graced by the presence of their sunken king. The Grove Mother has shown her favor, and the town is safe and in the company of heroes who saved it. People are grateful, people are happy, and people are drinking like they're going to die tomorrow. Are you doing the same?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
you
think so.
Adam's gonna. I mean, I don't get drunk or anything, so while everybody's happy, I'm gonna join in. But after a while, I'm gonna pull out a book and start scribbling in it and writing, and making notes, plans, schemes.
Cool. Is Flynn probably not partaking of the food, but is he taking part of the alcohol?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have my
Radio.
apple for the day.
You've had your apple for the day. So,
ability.
everyone who is drinking, please roll me a con check.
Can I not drink in moderation?
Nope. They
Alright.
Oh, I know why I had.
Throw or
now-
a check?
Saving throw.
I'm gonna be dancing also, by the way, if I can.
I don't need to, right? Because I'm not actually ingesting
No,
anything.
You're Warforged, you're fine.
Okay. Also, I just realized I remember why I had Purify Food and Rig prepared is because of Flynn, just in case he needed it.
At 13
Does it
Alexis
help?
con save.
It doesn't help, no.
Elle
I
gets
got a
a
natural
15.
20 for 20.
Natural 20, rightio.
Oh snap.
What about the wait? What about the people drinking stuff that's coming out of me? Are they fine?
No one wants to drink water, Adam. What?
It's water, Adam. They don't need to make any saves because they're drinking water.
Fair enough.
So, Lucky L. What are you rolling?
9.
9?
I said it was a 15.
15, rightio. So, Alexis and L. Yeah, you're getting a bit fucking pissed. It just seems like whenever
sorry.
you... A bit pissed.
Okay, a pitch?
A piss.
Pissed.
You're getting
You're
drunk.
a bit drunk, are you? A bit slammed in the head.
Pissed.
A bit bonked.
Alright.
You're getting right jolly, you is. So you're getting quite drunk at this point. Lucky Flynn, especially you, Flynn. It's like you're drinking salted water. I don't know. Ever since you've been to the Fae, alcohol it doesn't taste as good, and it doesn't seem to hit you as hard anymore. It's just I don't know. It's just not as good as it was. And Lucky, you're doing surprisingly well. You probably is that
Wait. I rolled a 9. Just checking.
Oh, sorry. I got
Yeah.
yours and L's confused. So, actually, Lucky, you're doing shit. L, you're fine. L, I'm saying, you're not, I can't imagine L being a very alcoholic person. They probably don't drink that often, do they?
No, Elle does not drink often at all.
Mm-hmm. And Lucky?
I'm small, so oh no, yeah. I can't really hold my alcohol.
You
Gonna-
can't hold
I'm
alcohol.
gonna make a
So-
note in my book that cats are bad at holding their liquor.
Yeah, it seems like both the cats in the group just cannot hold up liquor. Like, whenever you go to finish a drink, you, like, lift it up there, you slam down the table, you close your eyes for a second, and it fills again. And there's people around just constantly drinking. It's like, oh, cheers! And you almost feel obligated to keep doing it. And as the night kind of just rolls
pressure.
on and on and on, you just get drunker and drunker and drunker. So,
Like that.
you're pissed whether you like it or not. Elle and Flynn, you didn't fail, essentially. So you can choose not to be drunk tonight, or you can purposely get slammed.
Mm-hmm.
You getting slammed?
No. Not slammed, per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Flynn's getting slammed.
I'm alive still. I almost went down multiple times last fight. It's fine.
Drink is like there's no tomorrow. Radio. So, can I get you three to roll me D100s, please?
By
Alright,
being the
alright.
responsible member of the group and watching out for them, can I like give them a D100 advantage or something like that?
Adam is such a mom friend.
I'm going to say
Mm-hmm.
yes. Okay, since you have responsible drinkers or responsible non-drinkers, I suppose, your purifier. You can roll 2 D100s, and then you can choose. And I will choose essentially what I think is a better outcome.
Okay.
31 and 53 for Flynn.
I might be stupid, but what does the 0 mean on the
It means
bigger die?
it's either
10.
0 or 100.
It's
So-
0.
Yeah, so if it's 0, it depends on what the single digit is. If the single digit is 0, then you just roll a 100. If the single digit is anything other than 0, then you've got between 1 and 9.
Okay.
So what'd you roll?
I got a 3 and a 68.
3 and a 68. Okie dokie.
3 would have been bad. 3 would have been horrible.
Just do me a favor because I got a lot of numbers. Would you write down what you rolled?
Alright, I'll write it in the chat.
In chat, yeah. Just in end time dice rolls, just so I know what all the shit is.
Oh, dice roll.
That's fine, don't worry. Oh, 92 and 96. Holy crap, Alexis.
Yes.
He's
Jeez.
making up for his bad luck.
Well enrolled.
Alex is making up from his bad luck when he woke up in ale.
Rightio. That. Rightio. So. Okay, oh, Alexis. Fun times for you. Jay, 31 and 53. Oh, radio. 53. Oh God. Yeah, you're definitely going with you're definitely going with the 31.
Okay.
31.
I just want to know what all of them are.
Ugh. I will get on that later. 3 and 68. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So, eventually the night rolls through, and all of you wake up, maybe slightly sore in the head, some of you slightly less in the pocket.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to start off with Lucky. So, Lucky, you wake up what seems to be in one of the nicer rooms of the tavern, like an actual mattress instead of a straw bed, essentially. And you kind of just look around, and you're like, what happened last night? And you're just kind of very confused, and then you kind of like reach over, and like you find what the hell is this? And you hold up what seems to be this, like, very beautifully crafted studded leather arm.
It was gonna be a person in the bed. I was freaking out.
You seem to be sleeping next to what this seems to be this beautifully crafted studded leather arm. Engravings of what seems to be iconography of like fish and sea life all over it, with beautiful, almost kind of gold-plated studs. This seems
Ooh.
horribly impractical, but looks nice.
I'm too beautiful. I was freaking out.
Nice. Nice.
So, you mean it looks impractical as it's like weak, or?
No, it's studded leather armor. It's just very
Okay.
flashy studded leather armor.
Okay, all right. It looks like my size. Did I just steal this from somebody?
You don't know.
You're gonna need it with your lowest AC in the party.
Okay.
So Flynn, you kind of wake up similarly in a very nice, much nicer comparison to what you have been to before, and you kind of just like wake up. You're more an aficionado when it comes to alcohol, so the hangover doesn't hit you as bad. So you kind of just like look over, but you feel really sore, like your ribs are hurting, and then you kind of look over in a mirror, and you see kind of on your body just a lot of bruises and marks, but kind of is also sitting on your side table, be a pouch of something. Look inside it.
I'll take a look. Yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah, there's a pouch that contains 26 gold pieces, 72 silver pieces, and 13 copper pieces.
What?
How much silver and copper?
72 silver and 13 copper.
I fought people last night.
You did. So Adam, you would have saw essentially.
I can imagine he
after a
said that
while-
out loud to himself.
Yeah, after a while, Flynn and Brutus got into another quasi-arm wrestling match, but essentially it turned into Jay, I'm not strong, but I could beat you in a fight, and essentially led into like a quasi-ring fight,
Actual
where
wrestling.
actual like martial combat, where you managed to beat Brutus, but then Brutus beat you, but on the third round you beat him a second time, at which point Brutus had passed out, and then more people from the guard began to challenge you, and you did exceptionally well.
Can I say that I was the bookie, and then like what's next to his table is what I decided was his winnings, and I put it there. But I was the bookie, and I was like taking bets from everyone, and Brutus won some money as
Pretty
well.
much, you were his bookie, and you had him here's your money, and you just handed him this pouch of money.
Didn't keep any for myself.
Wow.
Drunk Fight Club.
Does Adam keep any of the money?
No, I said I don't keep any of the money for myself. It's all
so,
his.
so you make all that money.
Alright.
Elle was
Yep.
definitely like on the sidelines throwing frogs at you guys fighting.
Frogs. Yeah. Alright. Where is Elle's numbers?
Oh, do you want me to roll?
She didn't get
Yeah.
drunk.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you weren't getting slammed, sorry. I thought you were getting slammed.
Mm-hmm.
So you got drunk, but nothing particularly interesting happened when you got drunk. Unless you want there to be interesting happens.
No.
Good.
I do not.
And you're a responsible drinker with Adam. Radio. Elixis.
Yes.
You have a fun night.
Yes.
So I honestly cannot tell which one you prefer, so I'm gonna leave it up to you. So you got your mother. You seriously insult someone who could make life in the area very difficult and dangerous, or madman, roll twice, take both results. Which one do you want?
Do the Batman. Do the Batman. Do the Batman. Do
You
it.
insult the father's mother.
No. Do the madman, Alexis.
The
Do.
second one.
Oh,
You want madman?
Alright.
Right,
Oh,
I'm gonna
boy.
be rolling 2 D100s, and you're gonna taking both results.
Wait, hold on. Alexis
Does
said.
he roll it or
Wait,
do
hold
you
on.
roll it?
Break. Alexis
No.
said repeat the second one. He didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Oh,
second one.
no, but
Alright.
But I did hear it the second time, and I won the second one.
Okay,
Well,
fair
madman.
enough.
Okay, so roll me 2 more D100s, not at advantage,
Oh my god.
because you're a madman.
This is gonna be amazing.
Watch him roll the same shit.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Wait, he got so
Ah.
high. Why are you so bad?
You did. No, you did.
Dude, you did
Yeah,
1D199.
You just did it wrong.
What?
91 and 50. One. God damn it! You got your mother again.
What?
And you. Oh,
I
you-
called it. I fucking called it.
Wait, did you get two your mothers?
How did you get the same
You
one?
got the exact same roll. Do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
Oh, okay.
Do it again.
Wait, so does he get 3 results?
No, because I'm not counting that one. But that's
Okay.
better. Thank you.
Okay.
The whole point of that was to give you choice, not to give you the same choice. Right, 54. Okay. And 70.
Oh no, is that the one that he said he didn't want to give to Flint? Because it was 53?
So, Alexis, you wake up, but you're not inside the tavern.
Not
You're
again.
outside in the stables.
Not again.
You are currently, 1 minute, I need to roll something again. 1 minute.
Oh no.
I'm so scared.
You are currently sleeping next to what seems to be a very strange beast. It's sort of horse-like in nature, but it has 6 legs, sharp teeth, and what seems to be a jagged front horn.
Alexis, what did you fuck?
We've seen these before, right? When we first came to
You have
town.
seen this before. These
Oh,
are
God,
what is
you
like.
slept with
this
the
is
horse.
You're just sleeping next towards this, and you kind of wake up, and you pat yourself down. You pat yourself down once more again. You've lost your money.
About that, I'm gonna get the hell out of there like the snake.
Wait, so what were his 2 results?
His results were moo
Mm-hmm.
and robbed.
Moo is like you wake up next to a creature,
Moo, you wake up next to an animal.
and rob is you get robbed.
You get robbed.
And I only had like 7 to.
Rightio. So all of you wake up. Some worse for wear, some bruised and beaten but richer, and some with a very nice suit of armor now. What would you guys like to do as you wake up in the morning?
Immediately find his sister.
No, can I talk to Adam before he leaves?
Oh, yeah, totally. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm bringing the armor to him and be like, I woke up next to this. Do you know where I got it?
Right. Do I recognize the armor?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So you know during the night when Lucky got essentially absolutely hammered, that she essentially had a very engrossing conversation with what seems to be the group, the town's blacksmith, and it seems like they very well hit it off. And essentially, he was like, "Wait here," comes back, gets your measurements, and then hands you this suit of armor. So you would know that this suit of armor was actually meant for his wife, who was a member of the guard, but she died many years back because of a seasonal disease.
Oh.
Oh no!
And since you saved his town and he essentially wants to give you this suit of armor as a present.
Okay. I will. Okay. So since I knew this throughout the night, I realized that Lucky was probably gonna wake up and not remember it. So I hand Lucky a little letter, like detailing the entire night, and I tell her what happened, and I tell the name of the blacksmith and the name of the blacksmith's wife and everything, and I was like, you probably didn't remember this, but I prepared this just in case you wouldn't remember, and I hand you the letter.
Oh, that's very considerate. And then she watches, she reads it, and her face just like falls. Just like, oh no.
It was a very important gift. I recommend you do not squander it, Lucky. Pat you on the back, and then I'm out.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm heading to meet Sister. What's her name?
Sister Manera.
Sister Minetta. I wish to inquire about the casualties that the town and the guard have suffered. Do you
Would
wish
you want me to come with you?
If you wish, yes. Do you have anything better to do?
No, I will.
You're
go.
coming with me. Let's go.
I would like to drop by after that to thank this blacksmith. When I'm actually
I believe
conscious.
I remember where his shop is. It's a bit early, perhaps in the afternoon then.
True, he might be sleeping it off, but we'll see.
Yes, and was the blacksmith drunk?
He wasn't like fully like he was drinking for pleasure. He wasn't pished.
Okay. For what it's worth, he was capable of his decision-making faculties when he decided to bestow that upon you. So do not, I would say, do not insult the gift by attempting to return it. But if you wish
I'm
to
not
thank,
returning it. I just want to thank him and actually remember thanking him.
excellent, good. But yeah, I am heading out to see Sister Miranis.
I'll go with you.
Okay. I'm gonna go find Sister Miranis.
How do you? So you make your way over towards. Essentially, the father would have told you essentially where you could find her. She usually is in the underground section, essentially deep in the catacombs, where the honorable dead are buried.
Right. While on the way there, while walking there, I'm going to mention to Lucky. Interestingly, while I was able to keep an eye on you and Flynn, Alexis, Well, he's always sneaky. I lost sight of him. I wonder where he is.
I don't know.
I'm sure he's not getting
Hope he's
into
not
any
sleeping in a
trouble.
barrel again.
Hopefully not.
He'll
Sleeping.
turn up.
Oh well.
Incidentally, there's something I want to ask you.
Yes.
You said that your wood is made from birch, right? Your body?
Hold on, let me look up my my notes on
I
this.
think that's what you told us when we were drinking last.
Yeah. Let me.
Lie.
No. I can look it up really quickly. Adam's wood.
Is that Adam's wood?
Nice.
Looking at Adam's wood. Okay, so yeah, so there's the exterior is made from what you would think is ivory, but it's actually just smooth polished stone. The interior is made from a very dark birch that no longer exists in the world.
Right.
It's almost black.
Yes. I was just curious because the tree person before, he mentioned you being made from their dead children. I don't suppose you know anything about that, do you? Since you weren't exactly conscious when you were made, I guess.
Well, I was conscious at the end of my creation. Lucky, how much do you really know about me? You've lived in Sanctuary all your life, and I've been fairly prominent in Sanctuary for as long as you've been alive. How much have you heard? How much do you know? Do you know how old I am? Do you know where I'm from?
TM, would I know?
Depends how much interest you would take in, like the maintenance of the sunstone and prominent figures in the town, or if you were just more focused on.
Well, my specialization was in mushrooms, which grow without much sunlight, so I think I wouldn't take much interest.
Then you don't know too much about Adam. You know, you do keep the sunstone running.
You cut out there,
the main maintenance person.
Mm-hmm.
You cut out for a bit there.
Oh no, I'm just saying. You would know that Adam is maintenance person for the sunstone. He's the person that seems to be most accustomed to it, and you also know that he has been alive almost as long, if not longer than the elder. Those are the rumors of the town, at least.
Right. I'm just gonna say, well, I know that you are very old and that you take care of the sunstone, but that's about it. My paths never really crossed, unfortunately.
Well, for what it's worth, I trust you and I trust the rest of our party. However, whatever information I share with you, I hope you understand that I expect you to keep it close to your chest. I was created before Sanctuary existed as we know it now. I was created in the old world. At least, that's what I believe. And from what I have surmised or guessed, because I do not have much memory of it, but I believe that the wood that was used to make me is that of a variety that no longer exists out here, or if it does, it would probably be quite rare. I had my suspicions while we were locked up in Sanctuary and I could not investigate the flora outside, but now that we have left the confines of the hold and we have seen what has become of the natural life here and the Grove Mother's children, I am fairly sure, and on top of that, with the words of the Guardian, I'm fairly sure that I might be the last specimen of living dark birch. I was born with a repository of basic information about myself and my creators, and I know them, know who they are. I do not know, I know of them, I should say. I do not know them, because I never truly interacted with them. My first lucid memories were all in Sanctuary. But yes, the wood that does comprise me is ancient. Probably
You don't
extinct.
know your parents then?
Well, that is that's an interesting question. You have two parents, yes?
Well, yes, like most people.
It's good to know. I have 42.
I understand, but you don't remember anything about them?
I know who they are. They were all warforged. And here's the thing. Normal warforged were made by mortal hands for, well, the purposes of war. I was created by other warforged, not for war, although I am very much capable of it. I believe they created me for more, for other purposes, and to demonstrate that just because you are warforged does not mean that you need to be forged for war.
Well, what happened to them?
I
Are
do
there
not
any
know.
left?
I have but a fleeting memory of them. The moment that I awoke, I saw all 42 of them, and they had a brief conversation with me, and then my eyes were closed. The next I awoke, I was in Sanctuary, and I have lived there since.
That is strange. As I understand it, you do not sleep.
I do not. That is the only memory I ever have of sleeping. And it was a long, long, silent, soundless, dreamless slumber.
This is interesting. I haven't told anyone this, but I had a vision a few nights ago
What
of the rebirth of the world after the calamity. I saw the Grove Mother and how she filled the world with life again. It would seem that from that vision that her children spawned after the calamity happened. So how could you be made from one of them? It doesn't make sense.
It would less be that I am made from one of their children in the sense that we understand it. However, there is also the possibility that the Grove Mother and her guardians see all forms of flora as children, even those that existed in the past. There is a possibility for that connection.
That is true. The wood on your body regenerates, right? When you are injured, it reforms itself?
There's no part of me besides the armor that is woven into my being. There's no part of me that is not, at least in my belief, living. The wood, the stone, the metal, all of it is alive. At least I believe so. I did take a mild slight when the guardian said that the wood within me was dead. Yes, I would disagree. And yes, it does in fact regenerate with sufficient rest, of course. Unlike you, I do not require sustenance in the form of food, but I do require time, and that does lead into one of the aspects of my immortality.
Oh no, I was just thinking if it was possible to take a cutting from you and grow one of the trees from that, but
It is
I
living
don't
wood.
suppose.
Do you wish to try?
Would you let me?
I would.
You see, like her eyes just like light up, but she's like, "Well, I also don't think the tree man said that your wood was dead. He just said that you were a cycle that ended." And
Yes, but he
in a
mentioned that
way,
I was made
that is
from the
what.
flesh of a dead child. However, if that flesh is still living within me, is that child truly dead? I perhaps I had hoped for. I'm not sure entirely what I had hoped for by revealing my innards to the Guardian. However, I think a part of me was hoping that he would see in me some kinship, for we are both living creatures made of wood, are we not?
Well, perhaps he sees you as a unwelcome guest possessing desecrated body of one of his fallen brethren.
Perhaps, but he also mentioned that he sees me as a, what was the word, abomination? No, but words to that effect.
Mockery.
Mockery, that is what it was. And it did not sit right with me. Let's put it that way.
Well, tree people have a very different perspective on things. I wouldn't take too much offense.
It is fine. I would hope to one day change that perception. Regardless of the interaction I had with him, I still I mean, there are none like me anymore, as far as I know. As far as I know, I am the only one of my kind that will probably ever live unless I choose to make more in my image. And I do not know if I will choose to do so. And that leads me to see, well, the only beings similar to me are those guardians, and I was hoping to find some common ground of camaraderie, and I guess I feel disappointed that I did not.
Yeah, it was a little mean of them.
Well, it is what it is. I have faced far more insults at my person over the centuries I've been living.
Imagine you must accumulate a lot.
A person like me, yes, very much so. Let's
Oh, when we have time, maybe I can try that little experiment. If you'll let me.
Sure. Let's speak to the sister. We should have time today before we have to see the father for the boon. Before then, it is not. I mean, I do fairly regularly remove parts of my wooden core. Did that to create the cannons that are animated on my shoulders. That is how they can move around independently of me. They all have a piece of this wooden core within them. It would not be too difficult for me to remove another sliver for you to try and breathe new life into. It would be interesting for me to see what comes of it as well.
Looking forward to it. She just got her book out and she's writing ideas and it's scribbling furiously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. So at this point, after your conversation concludes, you are pretty much just at the end of the church, and you can see what seem to be a couple of individuals now with what seem to be boards and tablets, walking over what seem to be white sheets, draped over what seem to be the lifeless remains of those that died in the battle. All of them seem to be wearing similar kind of regalia, simple white, sometimes black robes with face masks and things of the such. One of them does seem to be a bit more prominent, however. Their robes seem to have a slight gold coloring to them, and the actual mask itself seems to have not a rune, but some kind of mark of authority on it. And you'd kind of just make that assumption that she is probably the person you're looking for.
Sister.
She kind of looks around and stares at you. Yes, how can I help you?
I wish to inquire about the casualties of the battle. I asked the father, and he mentioned you would be the person to speak to.
Oh yes, I am the keeper of the crypt. I look after the honourable dead, but I guess I'm just looking after the dead, as it seems at the moment.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it's a grisly scene, I have to say. Out of about maybe 100 or so guards, we lost about maybe 33. Good third of our force, and then civilian. I don't have an exact number of civilians here, but we lost about 72 of them. Conscripts and such, and a couple of orcs that ran into town as well.
Over 100 lives
About
lost.
over 100 dead, yeah.
How many of the forces of the enemy, how many bodies were recovered of those?
No, we haven't really done them a census. We've kind of the tree people that came, the Grove Mothers people. They did us the kindness of piling them up already. We've gone through them to make sure there's no survivors, but they're being prepared for the ritual sacrificing.
Are there any survivors?
Yeah, some of the boys captured some individual forces that were making their way into town. They're currently being kept in the prison.
Adam's eyes kind of glow red for a moment. May I speak to them?
Oh, it's not my authority to say. You have to speak to Gav.
Gav. Alright. Where can I find him?
Oh, well, he's in the prison right now.
Thank you very much, sister. My condolences for your losses this day.
Well, thank you for doing what you did. Well, if you excuse me, I've got more
Of course,
dead
yes.
to prepare.
I'm gonna step back and I'm going to turn to Wakinga. Don't you think that a word with those prisoners might be in our favor, Lucky?
I'm not sure if you want to find out some kind of information from them, but
Oh.
I don't know how willing they'd be to talk.
Where's the prison from where we are?
It's underneath the keep. You
Underneath
know
the
this
keep.
because Elixir was kept there.
Okay, I'm going to tell Lucky, speed to the tavern, grab the rest of our party, and meet me at the prison. I think they might want to. Members of our party might have questions for this individual as well. I'll speak to Gav about letting us in to question him.
Will do.
I'm gonna go find Gav.
So you begin to make your way down to the keep. And the keep itself seems to be with a buzz of activity. It seems like the surviving guards and conscripts seem to be running through drills in case there's a second wave. Things of the such. Other than that, the guard reception to you was positive, and they kind of very easy to let you in to go and speak with Gav.
Okay.
Let me just prepare the map very slightly.
No worries.
Yeah. Rightio. So you begin to make your way down into the prison, essentially.
Yep.
And with that, I'm just going to move you over the map. Pretty much, you kind of just you let yourself in, and Gav kind of just seems to be sitting in this kind of main office waiting for you.
Going to go up to him. I heard the prisoners.
Yeah. He looks at you and says, "Oh yeah, there's prisoners. We got them back in the people that tried to run through the town. Nabbed the ones we could and chucked them in the cells."
Have you questioned them?
Not as of yet. We've had some more pressing things to concern with.
May
But
I?
I mean, if you wanna go, be my guest.
All right. How many are there?
Well, we've got 3 orcs, a goblin, and a hob.
3 orcs, a goblin, and a hob. How's the hob's condition?
The hob's, I mean, he's fine. Broken leg.
Broken leg.
Splintered it together, and he's fine.
And the rest of them?
Goblin's bad and bruised. Had to knock him unconscious for us to get him in. They should be fine though. Orcs are tough things. The goblin, he surrendered, so he's as fine as fine can be.
The goblin surrendered.
Yeah.
If possible, would your men let me speak to both the hobgoblin and then the goblin, one after the other?
I mean, like in their cells or privately.
Privately. Well, in their cells, with your guards around, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, the cells are right next to each other, so you might. I mean, unless you want orcs to hear it, is the kind of thing.
No, I would prefer that the one being interrogated is alone, with no friends around.
I guess I could let you into the office.
It would be nice. Do you not have an interrogation chamber?
Not particularly.
You have a fighting pit, do you not?
Yeah, we have a fighting pit. Yeah.
Can I use that?
I'm be sure if you want.
It would be more conducive. A large open environment with him having no idea what's about to come out. Excellent.
All right. Well, I'll make your way into the fighting pit. You can get onto the balcony, or you can get into the pit itself if you want.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna wait for the rest of my party.
All right. So the rest of the party make their way down into the prison.
No, what? I was never with them.
No, I sent Lucky to get you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lucky's been sent to essentially acquire you.
Then yeah.
I guess. Like I was thinking about, she might not be there. She wants to do other stuff, but we'll say that she is.
It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys.
It's up to you. I mean, you don't have to go. It's just Lucky's going to the tavern. If people are there, she'll go back. If they're not, you just won't be there.
Yeah, I'll follow with Adam.
Yeah, it's mainly like if you have questions that you want to ask, like there's an opportunity. That's probably what I told Lucky to tell you guys.
I guess.
Okay. I will wait like in the main foyer for the rest of the party, and then when they arrive, I'll be like, so I know that it's not. You might think that questioning these prisoners might not exactly be necessary for us when our plans are different. However, I realized something yesterday. Our home is far south of here, and that is Orc territory. I'm also starting to come to terms with the possibility that perhaps the best route for Sanctuary may be an exodus out into a new home if we find a suitable area. However, as part of that, we would need to have as much information about the forces that surround Sanctuary as possible to ensure that in event that we take those actions, we can ensure the safety of our people. Therefore, I believe it to be in our interest to get as much information from these beings as we can. Their command structure, their locations, fortresses, and so on. Would you concur with me?
I agree with Adam. After seeing what has happened to nature out here, I feel that Sanctuary's just encased itself in a bubble. It's been isolated from the pulse of life out here. I don't think I could go back to living the way we were. It feels like we're in a tomb. I think we need to reconnect with the world outside.
I think it's important to offer both options, though. I don't think we should totally abandon and shut down Sanctuary. There will be plenty of people that want to stay there and want to continue living the old ways. I feel like we'd be met with less resistance if we offer the option of relocating to a safer location as well as keeping Sanctuary open.
I agree with you. I think probably the third better option that we should be looking at is keeping the gates of Sanctuary open, yes, but also allowing whatever populace to stay where they wish, either within the confines of the mountain or outside in a nearby safe haven. And
It is also a good fallback plan. We never know what could happen out here. We don't know what's
exactly.
going on with the nature. It could all turn on us. We don't know. It would be nice to still have a place to fall back to that we know. We're familiar
Exactly.
with.
Regardless, with either plan, I still think that we need information as much as possible. And that is why I asked Lucky to bring all of you here. Alexis, Flynn, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Having multiple options is always a good idea.
Alright. Well, let me tell you about the prisoners. Then, there's a hobgoblin, a goblin, and 3 orcs. Now, the orcs, I have less interest in. If you wish to question them, go ahead. However, the goblin I have interest in him because he was the only one who surrendered, which means that he might be more pliable to questioning. As for the hobgoblin, I'm sure you saw their prowess in combat. They appear to be field section leaders of some sort. They seem to have an ability to rationalize a bit better, and I'm thinking they might have more information. I have asked for the pit in this prison to be prepared for us for the purposes of being used as an interrogation chamber, and I intend on interrogating these 2 individuals. As for how the interrogation is to proceed, I'm open to ideas. My idea was just to beat the living hell out of them and see what they were going to say.
Very straightforward, I see. I
Hey, that's why you're
am
not-
not good at talking to people. I'm not very scary, so I don't really know. I don't think I could really help you out there.
Me neither. May I ask why you're not interested in the orcs, though, Adam?
From their actions in battle, they seemed like frontline grunts. Perhaps if the line of questioning with the hobgoblin and the goblin does not yield enough information, then we could turn to the orcs. However, we do have other matters to attend to today, and therefore I am being a bit more picky with where we seek information. Yes, Alexis, my apologies for stepping in.
Learning Orcish, I am quite good.
That might prove handy, actually. I did not consider the possibility that they might not speak our language.
Perhaps we can go in order of importance and
Let's
deal
start.
with the orcs if we have time.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Let's begin with the hobgoblin, then move to the goblin, and so on. The hobgoblin has a broken leg, so he might not be in the best shape, which might be an advantage for us. Regardless,
I
I
can't
believe
do the talking
be
part,
nice.
but I could do the slamming or zapping part if you need.
that might be good. Yes. I
Or we could
would.
heal him and be nice, and maybe he'll talk to us.
Or we
That,
do both, confuse them.
Open tutorial.
perhaps this. Um, I would like Elle and Flynn. The two of you are fairly insightful when it comes to spotting intentions. I would like to perhaps split us into two groups. Flynn, Alexis, and myself would head in first. The bruisers, we would be more forceful in our coercion of information, and when we are done, perhaps
Just
Lucky,
imagining Lucky being the bruiser.
Scratching.
perhaps Lucky and Elle could enter after we are done to offer perhaps a hand of kindness and see if that might yield more information.
Are you sure we shouldn't be nice first?
Reverse.
Perhaps there is some merit to that. However, I have to admit that my patience with these things is running fairly low after their actions, and I do not feel I have little kindness left in me for these things.
I mean, you don't understand why they're doing these things. They could have a good reason.
Burn
Perhaps
down a village.
to burn down a town.
Maybe they're starving. Maybe they're desperate for something.
They looked well fed, but
They are desperate for blood and the gold.
I will. There is wisdom to Lucky's words.
That doesn't mean we just automatically show them mercy. Because if we were to do that, then we would soon become in their place, begging and being desperate for others' mercy.
Nah, let's just torture them.
No,
That's
I
what
do
I'm
not
saying.
intend to torture them. I intend to
Yeah.
coerce information out of them. Well, let's just play by the ear. Flynn, Alexis, and I will head in with the first one, the hobgoblin. Lucky and Elle stick to the balcony. Keep yourselves fairly hidden. Try not to let him see you. And then when the three of us are done with him and return to the balcony to view, then the two of you may head down. How is that?
Do we pretend not to know you?
Yeah, we'll pretend to be their slaves. Then we're automatically on their side, and we're like, man, they made us come down here and heal you. Don't they suck, right? And we'll totally vibe.
I'm not very good at lying.
Perhaps
Me
not.
neither.
Perhaps not that. Perhaps just try to heal first without asking too many questions and have a conversation between the two of you about the brutality at which we are displaying.
Again, how's the communication working? Who's translating?
I don't know. The hobgoblin likely would understand our tongue. He is
Oh boy.
significantly more intelligent. At least it's the way it seemed in battle. I can't know for sure.
We won't know until we try, I suppose.
We're just not very
Well, let's try it out.
charismatic, so we can try.
Let's try it out and see how it goes. Let's head to the arena. The hobgoblin should be in there by now. We head to the arena. Yeah. Is the have the guards put the hobgoblin in there?
Sorry, I'm just getting the map. Yeah, so the guards, at your request, have actually moved the hobgoblin into the ring.
Okay.
Gotta grab him.
Is he like tied
Yeah.
up or?
No, he's just free in the ring.
Are there any weapons outside the arena?
There is no weapons at this arena. All he's wearing is essentially the armor they captured him in.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem to have any weapons on him, however.
Okay. Like, is there like a guard post here that I can grab like a simple weapon from?
This seems to be a prison, but you can head up to the guards' barracks and you can find some weapons. You can also find essentially in here the storage, essentially the claimed weapons of what they captured, and there is a giant pile of orc weapons outside.
Okay, that's closer. Is there a quarterstaff in there somewhere?
There is no there. The weapons that you find seem to be crude, metal, sort of spears, bows, swords, battle axes, great axes, and things like that.
All right, fuck it. I'll grab one of the spear and break the head off. Is it a quarterstaff?
It's a short quarterstaff.
All right, it'll work.
pilot.
It'll work.
It's more of a club.
Is it now magically portable?
No, it's yeah. Again, it's more of a club
It's a
now than it
stick.
is. Yeah, it's a stick.
It's a stick. Will it do bludgeoning damage?
I mean, I would say it's an improvised club.
Okay.
So
All right, I'm gonna take one look at this and be like, it does a small enough amount of damage, but probably good enough, and then I'm just gonna roll with it. So it's a D4 bludgeoning. You said
D4
DM?
bludgeoning, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, D4 bludgeoning.
With Dex, I'm hoping.
Do your fists not do that much?
I have -1 to strength. I have a high Dex.
Yo, I have a
What
stronger.
is a strength weapon?
No, a quarter. So that's why I'm asking if I can make it a quarterstaff, because quarterstaff is Dex. I was like,
No, it's not. Quarterstaff is still strength, isn't it?
no, quarterstaff can be Dex. Yeah, it's finesse.
I use
Huh.
stuff.
Oh, you have a quarterstaff on you? Oh, okay. I'll throw it aside and be like, can I borrow your quarterstaff? It's like, Flint, can I borrow your quarterstaff?
He bonks him.
Why don't you let him do it? He knows how to use it.
Yeah, but the thing is that I was thinking like if I let Flint hit him, it might just kill him.
Yeah,
Good
just
point.
like break a spear, I'll just give you my quarterstaff.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I've got Flint's quarterstaff now. All right,
Nice.
I'm
Okay, so
gonna
you have Quinn's quarterstaff, so it's an actual quarterstaff.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna walk in. Yeah, just gonna walk in there. You there? You understand my tongue? Alexis, do you understand him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's saying,
Wait, do I?
do you speak Orc?
Alexis, do you speak Orcish?
Yes.
Yeah, so you do understand what he's saying. He's saying, "Oh, is it? Fuck off."
I tell this to Adam and say, no boy, you're gonna die soon. I'm
Okay, so
kidding.
you do translate to me, right?
You kidding? Do you actually?
Do you actually
No.
translate what he's saying to me?
No, I'm saying that I am translating it into Adam. That's
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so he's
okay.
translating into you. Yeah.
Okay. And then you tell him, "Oh boy, you're gonna die soon."
no. That was the killing part.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
wanna-
You don't want
Okay.
to say that. Okay. I'm gonna say he wants us to leave. Flynn, would you restrain him for a second?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go. Hold him.
Yeah, no. He's tries to swing at you, Flynn.
Sir.
Is this
Hey,
the one with
look
the broken leg?
Yeah.
Broken leg, but he's still got good fists.
I know. Just checking.
I look at
15 doesn't hit you.
No, then I'll pop
No,
him
so
back and then grab him.
Yeah, so he kind of just like goes in for a swing, you duck under, and then you attempt to grapple him. I'm just gonna say for sake of ease, you grapple him.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's not make a miniature combat out of this.
All right. I'm gonna walk up. Well, how are you having him pinned, Flynn? Like, just up, or are you pinning him to the ground? What's going on?
Yeah, I'll just hold him up.
Okay.
Hold
fair
on,
enough.
okay.
Alright.
So you've gone around the back of him, essentially holding his arms up so he can't attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk up. I hear, and I'm assuming Alexis is translating.
I look at Adam and we just cut his ear.
Jesus.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but assumedly, unless it specifies otherwise, he's translating Orcish for you.
Okay. I hear your leg is injured.
Was it? It's fine.
Is it?
Nothing a bit of shaman's gonna wouldn't do.
I'm gonna touch it and cure wounds.
All right. Cure
Nice.
wounds is like
the good cop and the bad cop.
How does he respond?
When he's cure wounding, I put
Yeah.
my leg on the wound. No.
No, let me do it, Alexis. Don't worry. I'm going to.
right. So his leg kind of like refits in. It's in the bone was like growing in the wrong place. Essentially, it's like cracked inside the flesh
Mhm.
and was essentially making his like slightly shorter. It kind of fixes back into place. He's like, "Oh, is it you do the shaman's goodness then? Fucking night.
I do. No. Where are you from?
Is it from a camp?
Where's the camp?
No, none of your fucking business.
I will stick the quarterstaff in behind his leg, use my leg as leverage, and break his leg again.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Roll a strength check.
A strength check? I was hoping to use the leverage for like dex.
Yeah.
Don't
Leverage.
do it. Don't break DM.
No, it is strength. You're using force. Even if you're using leverage, you're still using force to break his leg.
Can I get advantage because he's restrained with Flynn?
Refrain's holding back his arms, not his legs.
Okay, fair enough. Strength
So,
check then. Strength check.
Straight check.
Okay, that's fine. That's not too bad. It's 18 minus 1 to 17.
Yeah, so you don't essentially break it the same way that it was before. Like you probably crack
yes.
the bone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's audible, but the bone stays in place. He's like, ah, shit.
Mercy can be given, and it can be rescinded. So I will ask you one more time. Where is your camp?
He kind of looks at you, thinks for a second.
I crack him in the face.
You break his jaw.
Mhm.
McClovey at work set me into his war bar for this, you pissant.
What did he say, Alexis?
I repeat whatever you said.
What did he say?
McCluvian, it's the goblin war god.
McCluviant.
Mm-hmm. It was slurred because you broke his fucking jaw.
Fair enough. I can't have you slurring on me. I'm going to grab his face and cure wounds his face so that his jaw fits back in.
I say, mate, I can fucking do this all day. You fucking think this is the first time I've had me a skinny bout? Nah, about it, mate.
Fair enough.
Want me to take his skin off?
Maybe, but you know he does have a very interesting way about him. So here's what I'm thinking. Do you have a reputation with your people?
I'm a hob. He's a fucking hob is.
Do they like you? Do they hold you in regard? Do they respect
No
you?
one fucking likes anyone.
Okay.
It's about numbers.
Numbers? What kind of numbers?
None of your numbers. My numbers.
How many people you've killed?
Oh, I've killed plenty of people. Everyone kills plenty of people. It's fucking what it is out here.
Why do you kill?
Oh, because McGluviat and Groups tells us to.
What do you think?
We won't like the Umis, or the elves, or the squat dwarves. We didn't run away. We stuck it out. We found a safe way, and we survived. Grumsh didn't die. Humans' god died. McCluviat didn't die. The elven gods died. It's our place now.
I'm gonna look up towards the balcony and see if Elle is hearing this and taking notes.
Kind of like looks at you looking
Do I
up.
hear this?
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you hear
I'm
this.
I'm trying to be stealthy about me looking up.
Oh, you're trying to be stealthy?
Yeah.
Okay, just roll me a
Sleight of hand.
slightly.
Okay.
Sleight of hand to see if you can like make
It's
a clear up.
it's what's that? +3, so 17.
17? Yeah, he doesn't notice you.
Okay. This is Elle listening to this, taking notes.
Is L?
Yeah, she has parchment.
Okay.
She could be.
Can I tell whether or not you can hear what he's saying?
I mean, you can hear the
don't
rant.
think
He's not being
so.
quiet. He's not being quiet. You can hear the Orcish that he is speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
whether she can hear Elixis interpreting.
no,
Right.
well, yeah, how loud is Elixis interpreting? Is he just saying it to Adam, or is he kind of just announcing it to the area?
Not too loud.
I will tell
Not loud, so
I'll tell
only
Alexis
Flynn and
that
and,
last
Adam
part.
hear.
Repeat it again a bit loud enough so they can hear.
Okay, do it louder now.
Yeah, so then you hear it.
Well, let's see here. What are we gonna do with him? Flynn, Alexis, you have any ideas? I have some, but how do we make him crack?
We skin him and we leave him in a big barrel of, I don't know, acid? Yeah, that would be nice.
That would actually be nice if it wasn't for the fact that we don't have a bit barrel of acid. Flynn?
I mean, I'm good at breaking bones, so
That's fair.
A lot of knees in particular.
a lot of knees so far.
A lot of news. Why don't you show him your talents, Flynn?
Yeah, sure. I'll just push him to the side and grab my quarterstaff again.
I'll hand it
Go
back.
for yourself back.
Yeah, and then I'll whack him
Whack.
on the other knee this time.
The other needs isn't it? You're gonna make him a cripple.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, he lets out a shout of pain, and then it's gonna follow by. Fucking try it all you want, cunts. Never gonna fucking happen.
We could make him drink oil and light it on fire.
I don't think pain is the way to get through to
You know what?
these creatures.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what they want is death, right? Alexis, translate for me. You wish to die like a warrior, right? You don't wish to die limp, alone, not in a fight, in a dishonorable way. Am I correct? Your god would see that as a slight.
I've made my claim. I've tasted warrior's blood. No matter how I die now, I'm set.
Okay, that's fair. But how do you want to die?
I mean, that he kind of like picks up his curiosity. If I had to choose,
Yeah?
I wanna go fighting.
You
Proper
wanna go
fight,
fighting?
not a human, and a hobby, an orc.
No.
Real fight.
Real fight. That sounds nice. I'm gonna grab a dagger from Alexis's belt, and I'm gonna stab him directly under his ribs. I'm going to open up a wound into his abdominal cavity, ensuring to get an artery on the way there, and start filling up his body with blood. I'm gonna whisper to him. I'm gonna tell Alexis to whisper the translation. You're about to die, drowning on your own blood. You're about to die with no air in your lungs. It's not going to be painful, but it's going to be suffocating. It will last for hours and hours and hours with no fight, no glory, no real death. Do you wish to die this way?
Okay, first roll me a medical check to see if you can do that with that precision,
Okay.
and then second roll me an intimidation.
Medical check is a 14. Yeah, just a 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I help him with the intimidation?
Sure.
Okay. And then, so intimidation at advantage, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, give me this. Natural 20.
Natural 20. You see his demeanor go from kind of cocky and sort of content with where he's found himself to kind of now scared. It's like
It's not
still
that fast.
foaming.
It's not that fast. It actually
You know,
does take
he's-
forever.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
You see him like, you see him pull his tongue out and bite his tongue, continuously trying to saw through his tongue.
Okay. I will try and hold his jaw open and tell Flynn to do the same.
Okay, roll a strength check advantage.
Me or Flynn?
Well, whoever's doing it, probably you because you were the one that declared it, but Flynn can help.
Okay. Can Flynn and I roll separately if you don't mind? DM?
You both roll separately, sure.
Okay.
Is it just strength?
Yeah, strength.
Okay.
Strength check.
18.
Mine is a
Yeah,
mine's a 9.
You're able to hold his melon where his tongue is just barely hanging on, but is bleeding profusely. From his
Cure
mouth
wounds
now.
on the tongue.
So you heal up his tongue now. But he seems to still lost a decent bit of blood, but he's still conscious again.
I can see you don't wish to die this way.
You don't you don't get it, do you? You fucking idiots. There's dishonor here. There's dishonor on this life. I'm not gonna dishonor McLugley. If I go up there, I have to dishonor him then. It's a lifetime, multiple lifetimes of whippings, torture, and shit. I can take a day, I can take a week, I can take a year, but eternity? Fuck off.
He's not cracking?
He is terrified of you. He is certain that you could torture him all you want, but he is resigned to not telling you anything.
I'm gonna look to the other two. I don't think we're going to get information out of this one. What do you think we should do?
You know, these orcs and goblins are really fond of gold.
Perhaps, but this one speaks of honor and is willing to die painfully, slowly for this. What do you think?
I think that is the years of now.
No, that's not. It will not serve a purpose. I don't think we should be doling out violence if we do not have a end goal from it. Flynn, what do you think? Do you think we should just leave this one to the ladies and see what they can come up with?
If he's afraid of dishonoring himself in the face of his god, what if we gave him to the Sunken King? I don't know exactly what
That
he
is an
does
idea.
with their souls, but
That is in fact an idea. I'm going to cauterize his wound with fire.
Mm-hmm. Again, he lets another, pained yelp, but again, through blooded, gritted teeth, he is just smiling at you.
You have grit, and you know what? I believe you. There's no physical pain, no death that we could inflict on you that is going to change your mind, yes?
Bloody spit this time.
Very well. Then it shall not be death that we inflict on you. Instead, I'm going to ensure that when you die, you do not go to your god. You are to be sacrificed to the Sunken King, and he will have you in his domain forever. And you know that eternity of torture you just described, that you said you would do anything to stay away from. Yeah, that's where you're headed. Have fun. I'm gonna start walking away and mention for the other two to follow us.
Mm-hmm.
Let me translate first.
Oh yeah. No, once you're done translating, then we're just gonna start walking away and listening to see if he calls out for us.
No.
Huh?
He doesn't call out for you.
Okay. Once we're outside the arena and away from your shower, well, that went fucking horribly.
I'm not much of a interrogator.
Why
I mean-
do you know how to do that?
I have lived for too long and seen cruelty. I never thought I'd have to do it myself, but I have witnessed it before.
You sure didn't seem to have any difficulty with it.
Well, I wasn't actually planning on going through with it. That's why I cauterized his wound. Do you two want to have a crack at him? Perhaps the hand of kindness, see where that leads?
No, there's nothing I'm gonna get out of him that you.
Lucky kind of looks like a little green. She's just like, no, I don't think I will.
I don't know. Based on his reactions. I just realized something.
I don't think there's anything you can offer him that he
No.
wants from us.
No,
I
perhaps
don't know.
not.
Maybe leave it to the professionals.
Well, I think in this situation we are the closest there are to professionals, but I just realized something. He still believes that he is honorable. He still believes that he will be welcomed into the halls of his god. Yes, the goblin defected. He surrendered. He did not go down fighting. Perhaps we could speak to the goblin instead. With no need for torture, just the revelation of the consequences of his actions might be enough to get him to spill information. If, let's say, the carrot on the stick perhaps was that the Sunken King would look kindly upon him for revealing information about his soul now that he has fallen out of favor with his god. What do you think?
El, do you know anything about these gods that he speaks of? Perhaps with more information we could be more persuasive.
Do I?
Roll me a religion check.
Alright. Oh, Jesus. 4.
Alright, I'm gonna say that was for Groosh. You have absolutely no idea what you know that Groosh is the orc. He is an orc god. That's all you know. Okay,
Okay.
from Magluviate, roll again from Magluviate.
Can I get a spelling of these names because I'm not familiar?
Okay, yeah. So
Thanks.
Magluviate is M-A-G. And I'll just fucking type in chat. No, I'll just do that. Easier.
Alright. Thanks.
Rather than just me fucking typing it out. I'll just put in campaign chat.
That one's way better. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah. So you know Magluviate.
Okay.
He is essentially the prime goblin deity. Sometimes referred to as the Mighty One or the High Chieftain. He is the prime god of the goblins. He is a war god, more precisely. He essentially is the antithesis, the enemy of Groosh. They are in a millennia war and a millennia expanding war with each other. Essentially, goblins, when they die, they join Magluvia's war band, essentially to become part of his retinue to fight against Groosh. So to hear orcs and goblins, even on the afterlife, fighting with each other is unprecedented.
But this guy was like he was reverencing both of the gods, right?
Yeah, Elle will just share, I've read a little bit about this one, and she'll share all that knowledge. Interesting, but I don't understand why they'd be referenced together necessarily.
Yeah, that does sound odd.
Perhaps their alliance is stronger than we thought. They've even allied their religions?
Let's see what the goblin has to say for himself. It might be a bit more productive than this. I have to say, for what it's worth, I do respect that hobgoblin's tenacity. I think few mortals would be able to stand up to that kind of treatment without cracking even a little bit, and he did not for a second.
Right. Maybe if you can, try and be a little nicer. I'm kind of scared of you now.
That
It's just...
that is unfortunate that I acted in a way to terrify my own teammates, but for what it's worth, that was the intention, to be terrifying. It's not a side of me I would like to put on display very often, but yes, let's speak to the goblin. I'm gonna call to one of the guards and say that the hobgoblin is fine to be returned to his cell, but we need to speak to the goblin.
Okay. So eventually they take back in the hobgoblin and they replace him essentially with the goblin.
Perhaps this time we should all go down there together. I mean, we do not intend to torture this one. We just intend to speak to him, convince him, actually, that it is in his best interest to share information with us. Would you agree with me?
Yes, I think it'd be useful to have Elle there as well.
Well?
How would I help?
Your knowledge of their gods might come at an opportune moment for us, might provide some leverage. Are you willing to enter with us? I would not force it upon you.
assist where I can.
Very well. Let us go. Gonna enter the pit with the goblin.
Okay. You enter the pit of the goblin.
Do you
He kind of just.
Mm-hmm.
So the goblin kind of just seems to be kind of just like standing frantically looking around.
Do you
Not
speak our tongue? Do you speak it? Alexis,
What?
ask him if he speaks my tongue, or if he understands me.
Do you understand them I say in Orcish? I don't think so.
Oh dear.
Does he not speak Orcish?
Should we try other languages? But
Yeah,
he is a
do it.
goblin.
He's a goblin. I would assume he speaks goblin.
Just gonna start throwing out hello in all the different languages I know.
Does anyone know goblin?
No.
No.
I'm
I know
gonna.
undercommon.
I'm.
I don't-
I'm
that
gonna. Yeah.
helps.
I'm gonna yell at one of the guards. Anybody here speak Goblin?
I don't think so.
Fuck.
Speak halfling and that goblin is like half.
Should we try drawing?
I'm gonna pull out
Could
my notebook. I'm gonna pull out my notebook,
Boy.
and then
Speak Dictionary now. Let's go.
I am going to go to. So you know when I said I was drawing the maps of the area, right? I have a few different maps with like points of interest, either shown or not shown. I'm going to go to one of the maps that I have with most of the important points of interest not shown, so very little information on the map. And then I am going to point at where we are, and I'm going to see if he understands on the map. What does he do? Is he doing anything? Is he saying something?
He's looking at you, confused.
Okay, I'm gonna point at the map again, and I'm going to point at him, and I'm going to make like a gesture, like saying where or what. He's not pointing at it?
No, he just looks confused.
I'm gonna grab his hand, pull it forward to the map, turn it into a finger, and I'm going to point, and then I'm going to trace southward. Does he do anything? Is he resisting? Is he pointing somewhere?
Like he's trying to get his hand out of your grasp.
Mm-hmm.
I was just chuckling in the background.
I'm gonna let go of the hand.
Oh dear, it's not going well.
Useless. I'm gonna turn to the body and then
Bob.
in common I'm gonna say I am extremely tempted to punch him right now if it wasn't for the fact that he's a valuable source of information.
That would not help.
It would not help, no.
You weren't
You
holding
can't punch
back
in
last
languages.
time.
Well, I'm gonna close the book and I'm gonna be like, that was useless. God, turn him to a cell. Walk out.
Let's see if we can find someone who speaks Goblin.
Yeah. Well, there is
So,
also a final plan, but it is not one that I wish to undertake. But there is a third option if you guys are willing to hear that out.
Does anyone have comprehend languages?
No.
Wait, let me
No.
see.
None
Let
of
me
us
see.
are like arcane casters fully. We're all weird magic.
I'm a monk, dude. I don't know what you want from me.
I have
I
animal friendship. Is he an animal?
No.
one second.
Hmm.
Speak with animals. That
No,
doesn't help.
Let me see if I have anything that could help for this, but
Oh, you have message, right? Does message translate or does it not?
it does not.
Okay.
I also do not have message.
Don't you? Oh.
Nope.
Let me give me like a second, but I'm gonna walk out and tell the guard to return him to his place for now, because I don't have anything that will work right now. Earliest would be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say there is some merit to perhaps asking around in the town if anybody speaks their tongue, but for the time being, it would be best for us to head to the father. We do have a meeting with him.
Are we not going to try the orcs?
Mm, not at the
Even
moment.
if they don't know lots of information, they at least probably know the
The
location of their camp and.
The orcs do not surrender, which leads me to believe that they might be as religiously zealous as the hobgoblin was. And if that is the case, I do not wish to let the orcs in on what my intentions are, which is to find the location of their camp. Because, and here's my plan, and I want to know what you guys think of this plan. I'm thinking that we convince the father to perform a fake prisoner transfer where the orcs are loaded into a cart bound in chains, moving from a place to another place, and then we stage an attack on the transfer and let the orcs go free. But unbeknownst to them, that was part of our plan, and we track them and see where they return to. We find out where they return to, and we find their camp that way. That is the final backup plan that I have. What do you guys think about it?
I think that's a good idea, actually.
Do you think we could pull it off?
I could track them as an animal.
That might or might not work. I'm not entirely sure. It probably would work. And Flynn, you're fast. And
Alexis is stealthy.
stealthy.
I
Yeah,
mean, God.
it could work. What do you guys think?
If we find this camp, what is our plan then?
But mainly, what we need to do is we need to determine how close it is to Sanctuary. It really rubs me the wrong way that south of here, which is to say closer to our home, is an entire horde, an entire army of these creatures that are violent and seek to, as we just saw with the hobgoblin, just conduct war with no real purpose simply because the god tells them to. That is not a safe situation for our home.
Sanctuary is fortified, and I don't think anything can get through that door.
Sanctuary is fortified for now, yes, but remember, what if it turns out that the best solution for our people's continued survival is to bring them out of Sanctuary? Would you feel comfortable bringing them out into the surrounding lands where there is this massive army of orcs just around?
I mean, do you plan to slaughter them all if you find them?
No, but I plan on getting information. Like, if we knew where they were and how many there are, it would be easier for us to make a decision. Right now, we cannot think of what decision to make because we don't know where they are, how many of them there are. All we know is that they have joined forces and they are south of here and they are vicious.
I take your point. So we have two avenues open to us, finding someone who speaks Goblin and doing this tracked release, as you say.
Yes, effectively. And then there is also the matter that we need to get to the crater. There is also the matter of the sunstone. We need to do both. We can't do both at the same time. The question is, and this is something that I do not know which is the right way, but the question is, do we pursue this avenue, the trying to find their location and their numbers first, or do we head to the crater first and return later?
I believe getting this intel first would serve us better. Firstly, because we would have more information to guide our travel to the crater, and secondly, because we can give this information to the father and gain more of his favor and assistance to get there.
I didn't think about that, that's true.
You just leave this town already.
We will be fairly soon, regardless. And we will be returning here, right? That just to set expectations, Alexis, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a fair bit of this town in the future.
You didn't have to tell me that.
I know, but would you rather me lie to you?
Information is not a lie.
That's questionable. Regardless, let's head to the father. He would be expecting us about this time.
So you make your way outside of the prison after your interrogation, and you begin to make your way towards the church. It seemed to be very busy today. People giving thanks for the survival of the town, people seeking medical aid, and people mourning the dead. It's a very mixed attitude of sorrow, happiness, and grief. You kind of make your way through, people, even in the throes of their grief, kind of shine a smile towards your group, as you brought them at least a modicum of salvation from a danger that sought to rout them out of their homes. And that recognition is in all their faces. You make your way downstairs. An acolyte kind of just knows where you're heading. They open the stone door leading down and down into the dark underground archive, where the father is already waiting with what seems to be a couple of the other more prominent holy individuals, including Brutus. All of them seem to be wearing what seem to be ceremonial robes, even Brutus. You seem to be standing around this hole. Welcome.
Father?
Yes, so, as you have known, you have been chosen eligible to receive a boon from the king. Now, we don't exactly know what this boon could be. It could be patronage, it could be some form of power, it could be an item, it could simply be information. He may simply give it to you, or you may have to ask for it. Once you plunge into the water, you are on your own. Do I make myself clear?
I have a question, Father.
Yes.
If one of us
Both of you,
chooses not to plunge, is that acceptable?
Sorry?
If one of
What you
us, if any one of us chooses not to take the plunge to say no thank you in a sorts to the boon, would that be acceptable to the king or considered as
That
a
is fine.
insult?
This is completely your option.
Fair enough, thank you.
I didn't get to ask this yesterday, but is there any kind of strings attached to this boon?
We do not know.
No
He
one
could
has
offer.
taken this before?
Oh, people have received boons. Yes, I mean, Brutus. He submerged himself to become part of our order. That could be a boon. You could receive patronage from the father, whether it be clerical or some other kind of power. Then you would be beholden to do his rites along your travels. It could simply be he gives you a gem or a jewel, and that is it. Depends on what you seek and what he gives.
I just don't want to be, no offense to you, but I don't want to be committing myself to the Sunken King for the rest of my life.
That's fine. I'm almost positive the king does not want to make slaves or force you into his clergy. He seeks to encourage you.
Almost positive. Just like thinking to herself.
I'm gonna whisper to Lucky, if the Sunken King wishes to take you for himself, you can be rest assured that I will fight to the edge of plains to retrieve you. Lucky.
I don't want you to fight the Sunken King.
I will if I have to. But it is at the end of the day, and I'm going to turn to the rest of the party, your choice if you wish to enter and don't feel obligated to do so. But if you do, go ahead.
So
I would like to.
we just like jump in.
Cannonball
Well,
in.
there is no procedure into which you enter. It is traditional, however, to go in nude. If you do not wish to do so, no one is forcing you.
Okay.
Sorry, what are you saying? You cut out there.
This is a weird request.
It's not a request, it's just tradition.
That's a weird tradition.
Don't Where are you,
Leave.
Alexis? I don't think the Sunken King wants
Alexis, you know yesterday when we mentioned about like preferably don't insult the Sunken King, I think calling his traditions weird might count as that.
Do you cat people even get naked when you take clothes off?
I mean, you're just as naked as you are.
I mean, you do, Lucky. You definitely do.
Don't fur shame me.
He did just look up at the horse.
Alexis, you seem excited to head in. Do you wish to head in first, or?
I don't care. I'm not excited. I'm not.
Well, you were the one who first asked for an audience with the king.
Oh no, I thought it was like a normal thing, like not like a god thing, like a like a man.
That's fair enough. That's fair. Yeah. I can see how you'd mistake that. Yeah.
I can see that too. Do any of you wish to not head in?
Let's just go.
Go ahead then, one at a time.
Yes. That time. Who's going in first?
Okay, then I guess I will. I'll
Okay.
stay standing in front
Radio.
since no one else is volunteering.
Are you going in clothed?
You going in with your chainmail on?
No, that sounds like a bad idea.
The father, yeah, the father says, well, you don't need to go in naked. I would recommend going in with something lighter than metal.
Yes, understandable.
Adam kind
Just
of raises an eyebrow, like, I am made of metal.
takes off her battle axe, clink clink, takes off all the rest of her weapons, her shield, just taking everything off. And chainmail. Gosh, I got a lot of weapons, more weapons.
Yeah, so it seems like one of the attendants just seems to be collecting all of your items and putting them into like a safe place
Okay.
for you to collect once you're done.
Just weighing them down, like here you go, here you go. Yeah, so she'll just take everything off. And she'll take her hat off too. She'll leave her.
Not gonna offer a frog to him.
She'll leave her her amulet, her Raven Queen amulet on.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll just like strip down to like her broad underwear and just be like, don't look, you freaks.
I do.
Wait,
And then you're
what
popping
race
in.
is that?
Yeah, at least not as wrinkly as me.
I believe she's human.
Oh yeah, Elle's a human.
So
Yeah, Lucky's just gonna poke you in the shoulder, give you a guidance, say, be careful. You have it for 1 minute. Soon.
Right. Will do.
I do. Do you take the plunge?
Yep.
Cool. So
She'll gently and slowly ease her way in.
Righty diddly dee. Private chat, if you would.
Don't die.
Well, hello stream. Hello the rest of the game.
You should take your headphones off and go in there.
I could, but I mean, like, I would rather just leave them private. It's fine.
Oh, let the stream.
Oh, that's true. The stream could hear. Next time. I didn't discuss it with Luke, so maybe next time. Not now.
No, I mean, if you put it on the stream, then that's the problem with people rewatching and then knowing the information as well.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, we won't rewatch, right, Jay?
Jake, what are you talking about? I always rewatch.
Why you rewatch as well?
Yeah. It's fine, it's fine. I like how you went to go get ice cream and you returned in 1 second. Like, how?
Yes.
Elson, which accent were you dying with?
The hobgoblin. It That's amazing.
Yo, that guy took so much punishment and did not crack. I have to applaud that
Lucky's
hobgoblin.
legitimately afraid of you now. Like, she thinks you're a psychopath.
I'm not sure it's possible for Adam to be a psychopath, but okay.
I mean, he did seem like a psychopath. More so than Alexis.
You are worse, actually.
Oh, come on.
It's all the
I did
torture I
nothing.
used.
What was Flynn's reaction to the interrogation?
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he liked it, but he was definitely not having a bad time.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't say that he didn't like it though. He's kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, fair enough. I really like Flynn as a character. You should talk more often.
He's broken.
Yeah, that's true. You've broken a lot of news.
Flynn the Bone Breaker.
We need to speak to Flynn more often, and Flynn needs to speak more often. I want him to learn more about him.
I've just had a really shit week, so I've just been kind of quiet.
That's fair. I'm still having a
Oh,
headache from
that's
yesterday. What happened in your week?
Well, I live in Minnesota.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
shit!
Right now.
Alright.
I'm sorry, buddy. How's it going?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine.
All right. Any
Are you like staying inside, or you have to go out? Or...
Well, I live in rural Minnesota, so it's not a big
Right.
deal. But I've got family in
Yeah.
bigger cities. And my brother lives in Minneapolis, so it's just not.
Oh,
Oh dang.
is your brother okay?
Yeah, everything's been fine so far.
All right.
Hasn't gotten too bad for him.
I heard they died down a lot after the arrest was made.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like things are gonna keep getting worse before it gets better. Like everything's just getting piled on top of one another right now.
Yeah, no, really, this year,
2020 has been bad.
2020 has been bad. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong at the same time, and the compounding of all of it is just, it's not fun.
Yeah, people are going insane in the States right now.
Mm-hmm. Did I tell you that my visa got cancelled? So my student visa, my F1 type student visa to the United States was rescinded by Trump, and I'm like, okay.
Personally.
Not personally, but he canceled all immigration, and as part of that, my student visa was cancelled, so I have to reapply to it once they allow that to reopen.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. It also means that my admission into my university was cancelled because that was dependent on my visa. And I have to reapply to the university, but it's a streamlined process to reapply. So I need to reapply and get my visa back, and it's all it's ridiculous. It is not a fun time as an international student.
No, people were joking at the start of this year that 2020 is gonna be a great year because it's two 2020s.
Downhill.
Mm-hmm.
No, then we realized it was the DM's rule, not our rule.
They jinxed it.
The DM rolled 2 nat 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this year has been wild.
You ready for the kaiju, Benny?
I am, yeah. Put me in a fucking Jaeger. Seriously, just put me in a Jaeger. I'll be fine in a Jaeger.
Alright, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
So,
No, they're back.
so you
Just a go.
see Elle step in, a few minutes pass, she flies back out, lands her feet.
Wow.
That was, I'm gonna clap. That was fairly acrobatic.
She's just standing there huh.
Are you alright? Can you breathe?
He seems like a pretty cool dude, not gonna lie.
Do you have bigger muscles now?
Do I have bigger muscles now?
Yes.
When you said bigger, that's not what I thought you were gonna ask, but okay.
No.
Of course, Benny, of course.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Real
you
talk,
have-
does she look different?
no, she looks exactly the same.
Are you alright, Elle?
I do believe so. don't think anything's changed with me. I didn't ask for anything changed. He didn't require anything.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Get close. Don't fall sick. It's fairly cold out.
Oh shoot! She looks down and suddenly realizes it is embarrassed again.
Yeah, an attendant kind of comes up with your clothes and equipment.
She just like holds up her sword in front of her like a censorship.
Madam, we have a changing room if you'd like. We set up a small little area where you can distance yourself.
Her like wet, squeaky feet will like go that way.
Yes.
I intend to head in, but I intend to head in last. So if the rest of you wish to head in, now would be a time.
She seems okay. I'll go.
Go on.
Like he doesn't hesitate till this moment.
Be careful.
Sure.
Question. Would my mentor Orlith have any problem with this? Just from our time spent together, did he have any?
Your time spent together?
He's a jealous type.
Jealous
I
type.
don't know, dude.
You, from the time you spent with him, his only concern is with other Fae, so he's given you essentially some warning when it comes to dealing with them. But outside of that, essentially you are there to entertain them. So, no, he doesn't particularly care about the Sun King.
Yeah, this is entertaining, so I'll go. I won't go now. He is lucky situation.
Elle's going. Yeah. So Lucky, sorry. Lucky, so you just hop in right in, or you?
No, she's gonna take her clothes off. She normally covers herself up a lot, so the first time you see, like, I guess she's just her skin is just super wrinkly.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, and then you hop in. Okay.
I'll dip a toe in first, test the temperature.
Oh,
and
it's
then I'll go in.
cold. Oh, it's so cold.
Oh, I don't like this.
It's ice cold.
It's plunge or not, Lucky.
She like hovers a little bit and then just like jumps in, like steals herself, jumps in.
Lovely jubbly. 5 if you would.
Dip a toe.
Alright, now I'll be right back.
Sure.
I want to like take a little, like go in a little bit into the head and just look around what's going on in there.
So Maya, don't
Yes.
actually tell me, but what did you ask for?
Well, there's been something that has been concerning Elle in a dream that she had recently.
Oh.
So she's trying to do something to fix that.
That's the Raven Queen dream, yeah?
Mhm.
Fair enough.
He seems really cool though. Honestly, I like him.
What's his voice like? Oh wait, no, don't tell me. I'll experience it myself.
Yeah, and so will I guess anyone watching this stream. I gotta wait for you.
Oh, that's right. The stream is gonna go in with me, so the stream is gonna be able to hear my section, but nobody else's.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So I'll get to know yours, but you won't know ours.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
That happened when I was watching the episode of Granada recently, where
Mhm.
Odessa was pulled into private chats, and I was like, oh, I'm hearing it. I feel naughty, like when I was watching the stream.
Yeah. What was Elle's reaction to the interrogation scene?
Oh gosh, Elle's pretty like she's cool with like gross stuff, bugs, gore, all that kind of stuff. She doesn't really mind it. But I guess you could tell by her questioning afterwards, she was more concerned why that seemed so first nature to Adam. She's a little suspicious.
Yeah, that's fair. There's you also gotta keep in mind, like, or rather, I guess Elle has to keep in mind. Adam's been Adam's been around for a while. There's been a lot of things he's done and witnessed, and you know, unlike mortals, his memory is almost perfect. He can step into any point in his past and emulate that if he so wishes.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess it took Ella back because it kind of made her realize, like, she was like, yeah, I'll go in there and smack him. I got this. But then seeing what Adam did, she was just like, that's not at all anything I would have thought up. So she's kind of just like, wait, what the fuck is this guy? We're all babies from underground. This isn't, you know, he's not like us.
It's,
kind of a
it's
weird
probably
moment for her.
probably even more real for you because like you would have like listened to because with your background you would have heard what Adam said and been like, oh no, that's not a bluff. That's real. It's like-
Yeah, and I think definitely it's kind of neat to think about how much we all would have known each other back in Sanctuary. I think
Mhm.
Elle definitely would have had Adam on her radar.
Yeah, no, for
She's
sure.
really curious and likes to study things. So she
No, like I
probably
said,
would have
Adam knew
known.
your family. Adam knew your ancestors.
Jeez.
Remember in the very first session, Adam went to pay respects at your house.
Oh shoot, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, the very first session before we all set out, Adam went around to the different houses in Sanctuary. To every, they're back.
So,
Before she comes back out, I
Uh-oh.
wanna look at the father and say, "Can I take a peek?"
peek at what?
You're peeking on me.
You know, in the pawns.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's traditional that only one person goes in a time when they're receiving something from the king. It could be seen as disrespectful.
So
Remember-
not take a peek, okay.
Yeah.
No, please don't.
Remember, we don't want to disrespect
And
him.
after that,
Elle will
Lucky-
come back just like wet.
Mhm.
Just standing there.
Lucky shoots out the hole, landing on her feet again.
I grab a towel and just like pat down Lucky. I'm like, "Are you all right?
Freezing.
Are you all right?"
I am cold, but I am all right. And that was weird.
Well, Alexis, you seem interested. Go ahead, jump in.
Okay, I jump in. Wait,
Oh,
no,
you
I
jump
need to
in?
take. No, I need to take my stuff off first. Yes, I take my weapons and everything else and jump in.
Idea. Should notice, by the way, what's everyone's past perceptions? Other
One-
than Lucky, of course.
13.
14.
15.
12.
Okay. Everyone with above a 14 notices. Yeah, everyone knows with above 14 notices on Lucky's forehead there seems to be like a small cut.
So only
Small-
Flynn.
Only
Notices
Flynn
this.
notices this.
Only Flynn, you know, there's a small cut on her forehead.
Do I feel different?
You
Sorry.
feel fine.
Lucky, are you okay? It looks like you got cut on your forehead.
I do.
You what?
He kind of
Ooh.
poked me with a tentacle.
I was
Identify.
gonna lean in and like look at it and can I like try to roll medicine?
Roll medicine check.
Identify.
Identify the cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna identify.
Do it. Cast identify?
Yeah.
Right, roll me a wisdom save as you do that.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Oh.
Wisdom
have you
saving
done?
throw.
I rolled really bad on medicine. I got a 9.
That's a 17. 1-7.
17, you go to identify this,
Mhm.
and what only can be described as a flash of the very idea of reality goes through your mind. You fall forward,
Mhm.
looking up at the ceiling, trying to just get back your thoughts. Is that what you're doing right now?
My
So you're
eyes
almost
start
glitching out.
sparking. Yeah, my eyes like go into very different colors. My face like starts like transforming back and forth, and like all the armor panels on my body are just like.
God.
What happened?
What happened to him?
What did you do down there, Lucky?
It's me?
Can I
It's-
try and help Adam?
Did somebody get water on him? What's going on?
Okay, so
Can I
Adam,
do a medicine
you're,
check on him?
you're Adam. After about a minute of this,
Mhm.
you stop, and essentially just go like through a small reboot, like, ding, and you're like,
Shut up noise.
the fuck?
Yes, Alexis jumped in.
Du-du-du-du.
Has Alexis gone in yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's already gone in.
He would have undressed and would have jumped in.
Like
Yes.
Oh shit! Damn it. Okay.
Mhm. So I would say you rolled a 9 in the medicine check. It's not
Yeah.
high. That's an eye.
I'm
That's
sorry.
that's an eye. That's an eye slit. That's an eye.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Like you can't go over there just to
What is
check.
it?
Like you go over and you go to
Mhm.
open like the slit to see if it's a cut or if it's infected,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
just see an eye.
Alright, so
Oh wow.
Elle's face is usually very deadpan, very serious. So she's like, "Yeah, let me take a look." She walks over. You see her eyes like kind of like fly open for a second, and she's like, she maintains her poker face, and she's just like, how is your vision?
What do you mean? What's going on? Somebody
I
tell
get
me.
up. I get up for a second and I say, "Don't touch that."
Can I poke it?
No,
On my
wait, wait,
second
no.
Yeah, you go to poke it. Ow! poked your eye.
Oh no.
That hurts.
Did you ask to see better?
No, I asked him for knowledge. He poked me and he sent me back up here.
This is roughly what it looks like. Not
I
exactly.
found so many pictures of like three-eyed sphinx.
Is
I'm gonna
she
go look for them
now-
again
Oh
now.
wow, there you go.
Oh,
There you
dang.
go.
Where
Like
is
that.
it?
Wow.
That's what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Is it
So
like
I'll-
fully open or is it closed?
No, it's closed,
Mhm.
but that's what it looks like when it's open. When you went to like when you peeled the cut open, that's what was staring at you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Elle's
gonna go like
say,
look at my reflection in the water and be like,
I think it's really metal personally, but I don't know if you're into it.
this is what I asked for.
So you look at the eye, and the father is like, "By the king, he gave you that."
What is it, Father?
Has this happened before?
That, my dear, is the king's eye. That right there. You see this repository of knowledge right amongst you. This archive of old and new texts. It is as if all of that were to be crammed into your brain, and you have accessed it through that eye.
That would explain what happened to me as I look at my hands.
You just have a library of all the knowledge in an eyeball.
Lucky, who's been looking terrified till this point, suddenly seems okay, excited again. Is it the same color as my other eyes, or is it like?
It's the same color as your other eyes.
Huh.
Interestingly, attempting to identify such a repository of knowledge would lead me to spasm out in an overload of
Bye.
information.
It is. Well, it is one of the greatest gifts that the king can give. I would be careful. Knowledge of that capability is damning if used too much. It will be a strain on your mind, but think of something that you've never thought of. Knowledge that you have no idea that you knew. Ask a question that you don't know the answer to and try and think.
Alright.
Lucky.
What type of seaweed is there in the ocean?
Roll me a wisdom save.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Wait, sorry. Stats. That's that one.
I'm gonna say this is the first time using it. You can have advantage.
Thank you.
But, but
all right.
Because otherwise, I don't want to do what I would have to do otherwise.
Brain just explodes. With advantage is 21.
21. Yeah. So you ask this question, and you see the eye open now, and
cool.
you know all the seaweeds in the sea.
That's a lot of seaweed.
A lot of seaweed.
How
Lots of different kinds of seaweed.
how limited is that information, or is it literally anything, Father?
Well, you can essentially ask the eye any question, depending on how severe the knowledge is. It might have a different strain on your mind. Ask it a recipe for some stew, and it'll find one for you. It'll be easy. Something that you can easily find. Ask it for the first ever stew crafted in history. Might be a bit more strenuous.
What of information that might be obscure but would be easily obtainable to the individual? Like information that would be extremely hard to obtain for you but might be easy for her.
I wouldn't say it would. I mean, she would have to use the eye, and that's a strain on the. But she could find it out.
Lucky, do you mind testing something for me?
Sure.
What was
Roll for
the
experience.
what was the name I was born with?
I feel like the difficulty of that question is going to kill me, based on what the father said.
The information is with me. I know the answer. Therefore, if you could simply ask me for the answer, I'm just curious as to how. I'm not going to force you to do it. You're right. It might be dangerous. Let's not.
I'd say let's test it in steps, from easy, difficult.
Yes.
And then when we reach the point where my head explodes, then let's stop there.
Let's not reach that point.
Before that point.
Yes.
I was just really close.
Well
to Lucky's
before.
face, like looking in the eye, like whoa, and she's just like poking around it, like feeling the skin around it.
Yeah. So as you guys do that, I'm gonna go. Alexis, follow me to private chat.
Alright.
What the fuck did you ask for?
Knowledge, or the means to obtain it.
I was gonna ask for that, and then I'm gonna ask for something else.
Oh, you're getting the third eye first.
I don't know what to ask anymore. When I was gonna ask that, now I'm afraid of asking for like anything.
You got something cool.
You can ask for something specific instead of like vague knowledge. You got
Oh,
one.
that's true. I guess you gotta be
Cool staff.
specific.
I was-
like, I want the power to do this, and he's like, here's the location of the artifact that you can find and hunt down to do that. I'm like, well, great, thanks.
You got an
Well, now
errand.
I have the quest to go find what should be my boon.
Well,
so
probably because he didn't have it on him, so it wasn't his to
at
give.
least you got something.
That's crazy. You got a third fucking eye.
You
Well,
are now
I had-
the weirdest looking tabaxi officially.
Yeah, like a sphinx
I
cat
thought it
was.
was weird enough already.
I had three options of what I was gonna ask, and knowledge was like the first one. But
oh
I'm
shit! Why
not.
did we ask for a sunstone? I forgot.
No, the thing is that based on the answer to L's question, Adam already had a suspicion, but now I'm fairly sure that the Sunken King can only give what he has, and
Did you ask Elle?
Everybody's. Did Elle tell us what she got and what she asked for?
L didn't tell us. So
No, she hasn't
Oh
yet.
yeah.
This-
So we
this-
don't know
this-
that
this
yet.
is-
Can
this
we
is-
ask her during this time?
yeah, we can. Can I ask you during this time, L? Like, what
Did
did
you any
you ask
extra
for?
organs as well? You look the same.
Not
Did-
that I'm aware of. I feel the same. I look the same. I was just gonna wait till a guy comes back to.
That's
but
true.
she's-
Oh yeah. No, that's.
I mean,
What
yeah, I
did?
was just gonna wait if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but no. Even without asking L, like Adam's hypothesis is that the Sunken King can only give what he has, and based
It's not
on
omnipotent.
How?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you know that? though?
because of the fact that the father didn't know the importance of the sunstone, and they didn't consider it very important, and the entire thing, like, this is the place to worship the Sunken King, right? And this is the archive, and we couldn't find any information here. And if this is what the Sunken King is capable of, because if the sunstone is they're back.
So, as you're having this conversation with Lucky and the Third Eye, Alexis kind of just flies out, and he seems to be holding this kind of like smallish white ball, maybe about the size of a baby, in his hands.
Okay. That's kind of a large ball.
Did you ask for a plaything?
I don't know. I just got a ball.
Well, what did you
does
ask
it
for?
do?
I
you
do
wanna
not
examine it?
know. Yes, I want to. Like, I don't want to cast identify or something on it. I just want to look.
Right, roll. Yeah, just from your understanding of valuable items and gems, this is a very large pearl.
Oh.
What?
This is a huge pearl.
Well,
Okay.
what did you ask for?
I think the answer is fairly obvious.
I asked for anything or nothing. sort of.
I'm gonna.
Anything or nothing?
I just asked him he can give me whatever he wants, and hey, I got a.
I'll identify it.
Oh.
That is a giant pearl.
Do I?
That thing
Yeah.
is worth easily 2,500 gold.
I will take my
If
hands
I
off
the
it.
person.
I'll take my hands off it, and I'll turn to Alexa and say, I'll actually look around, and then I'll lean in his ear and I'll whisper to him, "The pearl is worth about 2,500 gold."
Nice. I
You would
don't
also
want.
know, yeah, you would also know
Nice.
that this pearl is like this is an artificer's dream. This is a gem or some natural forming material that is of such high quality. Making magical items with this would be so fucking easy.
I would like
Do I know
mention
that?
that.
Well, I mean, Alexis, you would know that the higher quality a gem or an item, usually some raw materials like gems or some special stones, can be used for creating magical items. Yes, you would know that as a thief and such as that.
I will tell Alexis after identifying it. This is your
Uh,
gift. This is for you to decide what to do with. If you wish
I
to,
look at it for about a whole minute, stare at it, and then I look at Adam and say, "You should have this."
no, wait. I want you to think about it a bit more.
I
This
just
is
did.
really.
Yeah.
I haven't even finished my sentence.
He's made up his mind.
Well,
It's just what would I use it?
Well, okay, I was going to say that if you so wish, this could be turned into currency, of which, of course, you would be the proprietor, or if you so wish, I could work it into items, into equipment that would benefit us. A majority of it would go to you because it is your gift, and I would feel remiss not making sure that a majority of the benefits of it went to you. But yes, I could turn this into a lot of things.
You do realize I don't really care much about money because I literally have none. You can have it. I do not.
I will ensure that whatever comes of it will be something that
Nice.
you will appreciate, Alexis.
Yes, I like my dagger very much. It would be nice, I think.
It would be far better than the dagger you have. You have a short sword, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I have ideas. Alright.
Hey,
Yes.
Alexis,
Yeah.
check it out. I pull open my third eye.
Alexis
That's a third eye.
screams.
Okay, maybe not.
What
Alright.
Right, speaking of which, Elle, what did you get? You didn't get any extra organs, did you?
You got cool stuff. You got like this cool eyeball, poke. You got like this giant pearl. I just got like an errand.
But
An errand?
wait, what
Oh.
Eric?
What?
I asked for the power to assist my goddess,
Right.
and I was told of the location of a powerful relic that should be able to assist her.
You were given
and how to
just a
obtain it.
location.
Yes.
Wow. Comparing the location to the eye and the pearl, how valuable must that location be for it to be considered in the same breath of these two items?
I mean, it's worth nothing if we're all just gonna fucking die on our way there. I don't know how treacherous it is.
I think you should go back and ask for a refund. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but
I'll demand to speak to the manager.
if that is what he decided to give you, then perhaps there's immense value in simply that knowledge. I'm sure we can make something come of it, and
Might be more to it than meets the eye.
there might absolutely.
I sure hope so. I really like the guy. I trust him, and I know it will be helpful.
Where is this location, by the way?
It's just a question of how.
Oh yeah,
we
should
get
mention
there.
you now know inherently where the Fall City is.
Oh, I just like have
You just
that
know
knowledge
where it is.
now.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Wait, are you just gonna point towards it?
Yeah.
Shuffling, give me a
Copy
second.
Kind
You
of
don't. Yeah.
She looks in
you
the
just know-
looks around.
You
Mm.
know, essentially, where you are now, essentially, is just more nodes. You essentially, you know exactly where to go to get to
Oh,
where this false city is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, yeah, she's just gonna say, like she puts her finger in the air,
Mm-hmm.
feels the wind, points in a direction.
Which
That way.
is it? North, south,
It's
east, west?
called... Huh?
Right, keep going. It's called what?
It's called the False City? I don't know what that name could
False
imply.
City. Fascinating.
The Baron, isn't the Baron? Sorry. The father says, "False city."
Yes,
Why?
is that bad?
Well,
It
it's
sounds bad.
it's an interesting place. I'll say as much. It's north, high up. It's technically in the Understate's territory, but they keep away from the place. It's a monument essentially to the old world. It's a city.
Oh.
It's somehow survived, almost immaculately.
Do
So
people
it's
live
still
there?
There with people
Yes.
inhabiting it.
Well, that's the thing. It's an empty city. People go in, and the ones that come back say they didn't find people. They found things meshed with metal, mindless and roaming, and then other abominations roaming the streets. But they said it was unlike anything they'd ever seen. Buildings that go up into the sky, water that comes out of every house, clean and fresh. Food in the stalls. He doesn't know where it gets from or puts it there, but it's always there.
I'm definitely going there for sure.
That would be an interesting journey.
I need to learn more about this. This sounds amazing.
Flynn, are you heading in?
Well, careful. Many that go to the the false city, they never return.
Right. I might need to borrow your archives once again, Father. Do you have any information there on the
Well,
city?
we have never sent an expedition out to the city. It's far out of. It's
Oh.
likely
Not
to
you
send.
like pointing silently to her eye, like.
Do you want to use
just,
your eye,
like,
Lucky?
Closes it gently.
A little later. I don't think.
Nope.
The rest of you want to go? Looking at Flynn and Adam.
In
You
time.
still plan to go in?
I plan to go in, but I also was hoping to head in last. I fear my ask may lead to an extended encounter.
Alright, then, yeah, I'll still feeling like going in. Why not?
Just be sure to be specific, it would seem.
I'll try.
3 eyes not
So-
too bad. Sorry.
Just ask for
So you-
2 additional eyes, just 1 up.
So I can see all of you.
So you jump in the pool.
Yeah, I am one to follow tradition, so I am completely nude going in the pool.
Nice.
Nice.
I assume
Private chat. Yep.
Lucky's eye creeps Alexis out.
Enjoy
Elmo's
the fact
playing
that
with it. You like what?
I enjoy the fact that it does.
I guess it wouldn't be fully hidden by your sun hat.
No,
It
but
still
it's like
peek out.
clothes unless I'm using it, so it's just like
That's
blending in
true.
with my wrinkles.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Filthy third eye. But the place I'm supposed to go is like a old, obviously abandoned because the whole city's abandoned, temple to the Raven Queen, and that is my aesthetic. I can't wait to see it.
Yes, I'm sure Guy will describe it immediately.
Yeah. Nice. I love the spooky.
Oof.
I like that it's just on my GPS permanently now. That makes it a lot easier.
This eye in the picture he sends is so weird. Like the slit is the wrong way for the eye.
Yeah.
No, but that's how third eye is usually depicted, with the slit
Yeah.
vertical.
So you when you blink, the lids go inwards.
That is
Yeah.
so strange. I'm trying to
Yeah.
draw it and I can't figure it out.
Yeah, so like usually the third eye is vertical.
Yeah, but then the eyelids would also be vertical, right?
Yeah, they go to the left and right.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean
So
it
would-
would just be like the copy of the left and right eye in the middle, but this one it's orientated vertically.
Oh no, you're thinking of Cyclops. Cyclops have that type of eye that you're talking about, but like a lot of like when you manifest a third eye in a lot of media, it's this way where it's like sideways.
Huh.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Mine was much shorter.
So, you get flung out. And you all begin to notice something strange about Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
Here we
You
go
begin
again.
to notice something kind of begin to almost grow on his chest.
What
Like
is
this
it?
strange black ink seems to almost be protruding out from his skin
Ugh.
to form this strange swirling tattoo just above his heart.
Wow. What did you ask for, Flynn?
You alright there, bud?
How do I feel?
You feel strange. You look at your friends and you can kind of just see them, but it's not like you would have seen them before. Like you know exactly where they are. Even people behind you know that, oh, Adam is 3 feet to the left of me. Alexis is 6 feet to the right of me.
Oh gosh. You're a robot now.
I
Flynn,
feel weird, but in a good way, I suppose.
what was your boon? What was
I
your?
asked to be able to protect you four and our people. This is what I have. Just kind of looking around.
Huh.
I poked the black thing.
You poke the black thing? Yeah, it looks like a tattoo. It
Oh,
kind
so
of,
it's like his skin?
it's as if his skin pigments have changed to
Oh.
resemble a tattoo. Kind of like a Goliath.
Can I pull it off?
Huh.
Trying
I
It's
mean, I
his
tried to
skin.
pull it
You're gonna
off.
pull his skin off?
Perhaps that's not the best idea, Alexis.
Oh, it does not come off. Okay.
No.
You're very close to me while I'm muted, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Personal
You
space, please.
you had the option to ask a boon of effectively a deity, and your first thought was to ask for a boon that would make it easier for you to protect the rest of us. You are too good for us.
I don't know about that. You've saved my skin a few times. Feel like I owe it to you.
With your
Perhaps.
skin.
My skin. I'm gonna go change.
That
Yeah,
makes me
still
feel-
get hypothermia.
I'm
You,
gonna.
you see the father kind of get closer towards you to examine the
Mhm.
tattoo. And just to describe how it looks, it's just above your heart. And it looks essentially like a black shield made of wisps. Like different lines that form up this rough thing of a shield, essentially. Just above your heart.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah. So you know, so just in terms of out of game,
Mhm.
just so you know exactly what you got. You now always know where your party mates are. So long as they're within a 200-foot radius of you, you know exactly where they are. And whenever they receive damage, you can teleport to be right next to them.
Wow.
What?
Oh.
You can.
That's very good.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. I like
We
that.
need to stand like really far apart, hitting ourselves, and then he's like zoop zoop.
You can just
To be
run
precise,
around
it has-
and aggro every enemy and
Mhm.
then run away and then just teleport back to us.
Yep. He wanted a way to protect his friends. He got it.
Excellent.
Wow.
I have a list of things that essentially, depending on what you say, keywords
Mm-hmm.
he will give you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm going to.
So protection.
Yeah.
So this is technically a new feat, and if I figure out how to make feats beyond, I'll give it to
Oh,
you.
I can help you with that.
Benny,
That's
probably help.
yeah.
Essentially, so essentially, this is the King's Ward.
King's Ward.
Nice.
Nice.
The King's Ward.
Nice. Alright. I'm gonna start removing my clothes and armor. Like, I get naked, but I mean, I don't have genitalia or anything. Alright, I'm going to remove everything. And then just before, as I'm stepping towards the pool, I stop for a moment, and turn around. I open a section of my torso where there's a little pouch, actually. And I'm going to remove this item that's wrapped in a bit of cloth. I'm gonna look around. There's 4 of you. I'm gonna roll a d4. Okay, it's L. I'm gonna walk up to L. Now I'm gonna grab both of your hands and I'm gonna say, hold on to this. It's the key to our home.
Shoot. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that you have that. Making sure there's nothing else left on me. I'm gonna walk up to the water and just step in.
Does Adam have an ass?
Sort of.
Important questions here.
It's
I mean,
made
that's
of
a-
polished
that's a theater
stone.
maker's preference, I assume.
He has a rear plate.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't consider it an ass,
Okay.
but it's a close approximation to one that Adam had.
Okay, just curious.
No ass.
So essentially, you're stripping off all the metal bits of your body, so just going in. You're now it looks like a wood golem jumping in.
Okay. Well, white
Idea?
gold. It's
White-
stone. It's
white gold,
yeah,
yes.
it's polished stone on the outside. The wood's on the inside. Also, before I
Idea.
jump in, I'm going to also morph the armor plates to like kind of seal up all the seams so that the wood doesn't get wet.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you jump into this pool.
Okay.
Private jet.
All right.
So Adam, as you jump into this water, you don't float. You sink, but you sink very fast. Down, 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 and down. What feels like minutes pass until eventually you stop. Not because you hit the bottom, not because you feel sediment at your feet. Something stops you. And as you begin to look around and try and orientate yourself, figure out where you are, what's happening, you begin to see lights in the very, very far distance, almost like they're flickering. There's 1, there's 2, there's 10, and there's 100, until all of them surrounding you, like you're swimming in the sky. But one of these lights takes your particular interest, as you see it begin to get closer and closer and closer and closer, until it gets so close that you realize that's not a light. That's an eye. First, it starts off the size of a human. Then it starts to get bigger. Then it's the size of a small child. Then it gets even bigger still, the size of a fully grown human. Until it is right up in front of you, but a few feet away. And it is about 3 times the size of you. And it lets out in this voice, this guttural, horrid, screeching voice. And it hurts you just to hear this, but it speaks to you in the language that you're most familiar with. You have saved my people. Save them from barbaric force that would seek to rout them out. O you, creation of creation, what is it you
King. You
What's that?
wish. I'm saying, King. You wish to bestow upon me a boon for actions past. I humbly accept. However, I also wish to make a request beyond that, if that is to your liking. I wish to request a promise of a boon for actions future. Do you know of my people, the people that me and my party represent, the people that we have ventured this far to save?
you people?
We live
of creation. Long
not
servants, slaves, and serfs. To the mortals.
Hey, it's kind of hard to hear you. Sorry. Luke, it's kind of hard to hear you. You're cutting in and out.
Hold on a minute. That better?
Yeah.
So-
I do not speak of the Warforged. I speak of the people of Sanctuary.
People trapped in the past.
Yes. They need a home, and my objective originally was to fix the one they already had, this cavern in the mountains, but as time goes by, I come to terms more and more with the reality that the best place for my people is outside, in this new world. However, a new city, a new nation, effectively in this world would go undefended not very long. We can defend it with what we have, but what I seek is alliance. Above and beyond whichever boon you may wish to bestow upon me for actions past, in exchange for a promise of a amicable relationship with your city, your people, and you, can I humbly request your protection for my people should we wish to emerge from our caverns, a relationship symbiotic in nature where Denor and Sanctuary support each other, where Sanctuary can live with the promise of mutual defense. If Denor comes to harm, Sanctuary will aid, and if Sanctuary comes to harm, Denor will aid, and your forces with them.
Offer me their souls.
I cannot.
Being worship.
I cannot promise worship, King. I do not speak for them. I am simply a scout that loves his people. If the people of Sanctuary wish of their own accord to worship you in exchange for knowing you or your protection, then I would ensure that that practice is welcome within the community of Sanctuary, but I do not have the authority to promise you their worship.
Heart may be made of stone, metal, but it beats. Cannot cross.
You're cutting out because you're a bit soft, Luke.
Yeah. Your heart may be made of stone and metal, but it beats. However, I cannot promise safety and bounty for those that would give themselves on to me. And this is a bounty for if yourself, the owl, and if
Sorry, dude. I really can't understand you.
I'll just speak up then.
Okay.
Where did I stop? Where did I cut off? For you?
Your heart is made of stone and metal, and then after that, it was in and out.
Okay. Your heart is made of stone and but it beats.
Okay, no, it's still cutting it out. I think it's something to do with your mic.
1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. I'll be back in a second.
Sure. Oof. Hello, stream. It's just me. In this private chat. Here's an Easter egg for anybody watching the VOD. Oh, there we go.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Much better.
Cool. Yes. Your heart beats. Your heart may be made of wood, stone, and metal, but it beats warm. However, I cannot promise safety and bounty for those that would not give themselves on to me. This is a boon meant for you, and you alone. Prove yourself and your people's worth, and give themselves on to me. Their souls, their being, their very existence. And then we can speak of integration.
I understand.
I am not. So what is it that you require?
For myself,
that you require?
power.
Power.
Power to enact my will on my surrounding. The power to change what reality I live in just sufficiently so that my needs can be met, my goals can be achieved.
Okay, as a DM
Mm-hmm.
and as a player, what exactly is you're seeking from this? Because I'm struggling to think of what to give you.
Okay, so I was trying to think magic initiate warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, going into sort of a contractual relationship because like I'm not sure if Adam would want to do warlock, but Adam needs power right now because he's gone down a few times. He's realized that what power he has right now is insufficient. He wants to be able to, I mean, he's immortal, so he can't die, but at the same time, in the short term, he's not quite as impactful in fights. He's not quite as he feels like the fact that he's gone down so often in such a short time is just not thing. So in my mind, I had magic initiate warlock, but really it's up to you. It's just like he wants to be able to stick around for longer. He wants to be able to put out a bit more
Okay.
of a punishment.
This is what I will say as a DM.
Mhm.
I will flavor it differently.
Okay.
For the moment,
Mhm.
you mentioned that you might be taking Adam into multi-class.
In the future, not for the next few levels, but in the future, Adam definitely has already on his mind. Perhaps like if I'm not powerful enough, then maybe I should enter into a relationship with a being that will give me more power.
Okay. Then consider this
Mm-hmm.
like the pre-sign up benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will give upon you power. I can sense you do not want to be bound, so I will give you but a taste of what I could offer. And if you so desire at some point across your journey, want more power, and are ready to submit at least yourself to me, then we shall make it so.
I am amenable to that. Yes.
And with that, you shoot out
Okay.
back up to the surface.
All right.
So pretty much, you have you take the Warlock Magic Initiate's feat for free.
Oh, I don't need to wait until next level.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, excellent.
You get this
okay.
shit now.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I think you're just reacting to a crowd.
And with that,
Yeah.
Adam shoots out of his hole.
Nice. Nice.
You
What?
see, as he shoots out, his sort of wooden exterior, very small, kind of just on the inner side of his chest, similar to Flynn. There's a mark now. It's above his chest that seems to be just a small crown.
Did you get yourself become a king or something?
That is certainly an interesting theory, but no. What I wished for, perhaps it would be best to show you later. I feel odd.
Come
Wait.
on, we all told each other. Don't be mysterious about it.
I asked for power.
Ooh.
So
And-
did I.
You could you have asked to become a human? That would be fun. Then you could finally drink.
Become a real boy.
Perhaps that might have been an interesting choice, but no, I think for the time being, what I asked for would work fairly well.
With what?
Our
Show us your power.
goals.
mean,
I would rather not in here.
You
Just
can.
a-
Oh.
Is it
Do
just
you-
a
Oh, go ahead.
is it just crown to show dominance?
No. It is not.
I do not have any questions for the father. Perhaps he's given us a good amount of insight on our boons. Perhaps you wouldn't have any questions for him?
Yes. Well, from what I understood, your friend Flynn there had received the King's Ward, which is a protective thing or such. Your friend who seeks... 1 minute. What? Sorry, I'm getting screamed at. I'm getting screamed at from downstairs. I'm so apologize. Yes. Yes. Your friend there, the cleric to an old god, received information to a powerful artifact. Now, I would say that is a lesser boon, but if the king was willing to give out that information, the artifact that he was appointed to must be incredibly powerful.
Right. She just kind of gives a look at Adam because that's exactly what he said.
Adam just kind of nods and starts to put on his clothes again.
If you had asked how to save your queen, your raven queen, as it were, and he told you that this was the item, at least to help her somewhat,
Right.
then it must be something of unbridled power if it could help a god, even if
Right.
one of diminished stature. So I would say don't feel too left out from what your friends have received.
It's more so I feel the treachery that we must face too, or at least I must face.
Well,
retrieve
yeah.
it is more so what I'm worried about.
With the
Well, I'll face it
acquiring of great power comes great hardships. I mean, think of what you had to do to get these powers to begin with.
Right. It'll be worth it 100% though. I'll do whatever's needed.
Yes, your friend, the cat, the one with hair.
The hairy cat.
He received an item of much worth. I mean, I've never seen a pearl of that size. It's incredible. And
Oh,
your friend.
That's abnormal? That
Your
doesn't
friend.
exist in the natural world?
Oh, God, heavens no!
Oh.
Look at it. It's the size of my head.
Well, I don't know. There's fish people coming out the sea. There could be giant clams for all I know.
Well, I'd say it was not in the mortal sea that we understand.
Would you buy it for 50,000 gold?
We don't have that kind of money, I'm afraid. We are fishing.
49,000 gold.
No.
Okay. Okay, never mind.
And your friend, Adam, I put it, he has received some power from the king. Some magical power. I can
Which
tell.
is?
Well, I couldn't say. He gifted him some magical prowess. Right, well, I must say, with all of these boons, it almost seems poor of me to only offer you a carriage with some beast of burden.
But you do not need to worry about that. That was what you promised, and that is what we are happy to receive, Father.
You also did provide us this avenue to commune with the king.
And
So
you have treated
we
us.
can also thank you for that.
You've treated us very well. Even in some cases where I look at Alexis, we might not have treated you as well and kind.
Yes, well, you have saved my town. You have saved his domain. It's the least I can do. And we shall end it. And that is where we're going to end today's session.
Alright.
Cool.
Yes,
Hey.
Just like, I'm gonna remind Adam next session to talk to him about the plan. 'cause we're
Yeah.
not pretty done.
I wanted to talk to the
So-
father in next session. That's fine.
What you guys think?
That was fun as shit.
Great.
That was
Nice.
amazing. A lot happened.
I hope all you like your powers and gifts and information.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I feel bad.
Need to know more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say once you get that item, you're going to be very happy with that item.
Okay.
All right, really quickly, I'm gonna end the stream before I end the stream.
Yeah.
Any parting words?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do drugs,
Bye.
kids.
Don't do drugs. Stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.